Morning, everyone. How are we? Hope you're all well. Everyone's on. I've been having a chat in the chat room with Steve and Marky Lavelle and Lynn. I will need a new PC. Lynn Rogers is having trouble getting her computer up and running. I just said, do the buckaroony thing. Give it a quick jab with the left and see if that fixes it, Lynn. Timmy Ryan's on. I got my folding fire pit at King's in Bundaberg yesterday. Looking forward to using it at the music festival in a few weeks' time. Good stuff. Yeah, they're a good price too, aren't they, mate? You know, I've got the Snow Peak one, mate, which was given to me, admittedly, but who pays $600 for a fire pit when you can get one for $60 or whatever from King's? You know, you can buy 10 of them, even if they don't last as long. Hope everyone's got a brew in their hand. A hot beverage, it's too early for a beer. Or maybe not down in bloody Mexico. It's nearly 10 o'clock down there. So for the real keen ones, they might be cracking a beer. I don't normally crack a beer at 10 in the morning, let me tell you. Camp and Oz is on. Mate, I'm sure I'll trigger something with you today. I'm sure you'll disagree with something I'm going to say. I'm going to trigger a lot of people today, guys. This is going to be a controversial one. But just first things first, make sure everyone can hear me okay. Have I got my microphone off? Yes, I have. So I've got off to a good start there. Graham Whitaker is going, g'day from Nug Nug. Graham, I have no idea. Where is Nug Nug, mate? Where is Nug Nug? I've never heard of that. Is it short for Nugga Nugga or something? I don't know. 5x5. Thanks, Mark. Graham, what? Nug Nug. Anyone tell me where Nug Nug is? I have no idea. I've never even heard of the place. Steve and Annie are out camping, guys. Steve probably doesn't. I think they're packing up today, but they're out at Gameri Bush Camp. That's a bush camp I've always wanted to go to, Gameri Bush Camp. I haven't got there yet, Steve, but I think we were going to stay there when we picked the camper trailer up, mate, and we had those bloody big thunderstorms and we punched through to Tyro. We still copped them in Tyro anyway. From memory, we were going to stay at Gameri Bush Camp when we got our first night in the camper, from memory. Don't quote me on that one. Nick Taylor's on, saying g'day to Jack Turtle. Hope you're well, Jack and Mayo, up in Harvey Bay. Chrissy Anderson. Jack, have you heard from Chrissy Anderson? How's his did he get his house all back to normal, mate? Drop Bear Prospecting. G'day, mate. How are you? Hope you're well. Dwayne Duffy saying g'day to Buck and everyone in the chat room. Good stuff, mate. I'm going to put this down. It's a distraction. Bloody clicking me pen. I noticed that when I watch the replay. I always like to watch these back the next day or whatever. Not to watch myself, but because I miss a lot of the comments. And I like to see the comments in there. And I miss a lot of them during the thing. Harvey Dog run around. G'day, Harvey Dog. Mount Buffalo. Oh, so is it at Mount Buffalo, is it? Down the road from Tugger. Okay. There you go. Kerry Tuckwell. Tugger. There. I've never heard of Tugger before, guys. I must admit. Debbie Marworth. G'day, Debbie. How are you? So that's how you get the views up. That one went over my head, Steve. Sorry. I've like Rob the Wanderer. Now people do comments and Rob reads them and you can just see they go straight over his head like an F111. Hey, this morning, guys, we're not going to get into the controversial stuff straight away. That's coming. Trust me. And there'll be people in there that are going to be throwing shit at their TVs. There will be people, but the whole idea of this morning is to create discussion. And there's some shit I've put in there that I know is very controversial. Listen, if it was fair dinkum, it'd probably never get up, but it's to create discussion. I tell you what I have not done. I've got to go into YouTube so I can do polls. Bloody hell, but prior preparation prevents a piss poor performance. I've done it myself, everyone. I've done it myself. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about a few little things, footy scores, bit of news. Start off with a funny joke that I heard off Gidgy yesterday, everyone. Gidgy, you on yet? start off the funny joke. It's bloody, I was pissing myself. It's a good one, I reckon. And listen, this morning's not going to be kid-friendly, everyone. I'm going to try and keep the swearing down. I can't guarantee it, but I will try and keep the swearing down. But the subjects we're going to be talking about this morning are not for kids, everyone, okay? They're not for kids. So please, if you've got young kids watching this morning, probably get them outside, get them doing something, because Buck's executive orders this morning are not kid-friendly, okay? This is an adult one this morning. So for the next 10 minutes or so, kids are fine. But after that, I'm just warning you out. There could be swearing. I'll try and keep the swearing down. I'm not going to go on a big rant with swearing and that. But the subjects are a bit touchy, guys. Toddy, the pump koala is on. G'day, mate. How are you? Nick Taylor, morning to Jack. Graham saying, just remember, it's better to be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. No, that's too late for me, Graham. I've already done that, mate. I've done that on many occasions. So there is no doubt that I am a dead set diddly knock. I'm not going to try and hide it. I'm very opinionated. Always have been, guys. All my life I've been opinionated. Even when I was a digger in the army, if I didn't think something was right, I used to friggin' say something. Like, I couldn't shut my mouth. I used to go, this is fucked. Like, you know, just like, I was always, it's just, I don't know, it's just me. So if I don't agree with something, people used to usually know about it. People usually know about it. Ty's on. G'day, Ty. How are you, mate? Ivan and Lisa doing okay. Ivan and Lisa are on. I missed their thing. They're saying g'day to Jack Turtle, asking him how he is. And if someone can give me an update on Chrissy Anderson, please, and Terry G, everyone. Both got water through their house in Harvey Bay. Was that last week? Was it a week ago? Harvey Bay got, but gee whiz, time goes quick, doesn't it? And, yeah, Steve's loving his new Ford Ranger. Good stuff. How's the 2-litre tow, Steve? How's it towing compared to the FJ, mate? John's on. G'day, John, over in bloody the USA. John's on, guys, from Hovenweep National Monument. Good to see me. Good on you, mate. John and Dana out there. Oh, mate, I'm going to send you some hair clippers over. Did you see my comment? Geez, the old hair's getting a bit long, isn't it? You've gone into retirement mode, 100% full on. He's thank you. It's good to see you back on again, mate. We're missing your clips and really looking forward to some of your upcoming clips through the national parks. Good to see you getting out and enjoying it. Now, listen, when I saw that you were talking about national parks and you had your doggy in the car, are you allowed to have your dog in national parks in Oregon, mate, in the United States? So, unfortunately, every national park in Australia, no dogs. It's just does my head in. I don't agree with it. One thing you've got to be careful of is they bait dingoes and foxes and that here with, what's it called? Oh, my goodness, I've had a bloody mental blank. Anyway, with baits and that, if your dog picks them up, it's a horrific death, I reckon. Something 80. 1080 baits. Thanks, Lynn. Yeah, I knew I just had a mental blank there. So being America, there's a fair chance you can probably have your dogs in a national park there. The Yanks aren't as bloody nanny state as what Australia is, and I think you should be able to take your dogs in. There's obviously within reason, everyone, within reason, okay? But the trouble is they allow you to take your dogs into national parks. Next thing you know, arseholes will be in there with their pig dogs hunting, and that's what they don't want. And, yeah. Yes, but most trails are a no-go for hiking with your dog. Okay. Yeah, fair enough, mate. Yeah, I realise there's got to be some restrictions in national parks and that with animals. I get that. But, mate, there's a lot of places here where there's just, I understand Fraser Island's a national park, or Kagari they call it now, because of the dingo population over there. And the last thing you want is domestic dogs been attacked by dingoes, or worse still, a dingo mating with them, and next thing you've got crossbreed dingoes on Fraser Island. Fraser Island's got the most purebred dingoes in Australia because they can't breed with anything else but a dingo. So they're the most purebred dingoes in Australia, whereas your dingoes on the mainland, they can mate with domestic dogs and other wild dogs and that. Is Slacken on, is he? Slacken's on. G'day, Slacken. How are you, mate? Hope you're well. Slacken, and so we've got a couple of people. John's on over in the US, guys. Slacken's on over in Canada. Lukey Reed's on. There's another international guest. Lukey Reed down in Tasmania. That's overseas, isn't it? Tasmania's overseas. There's a Bass Strait between the mainland and Tassie. Down on the South Island. Don't know if Phil Webber's on. I haven't seen Phil Webber on for a while, guys, over in the ditch in New Zealand. Aussie's on down in Townsville. Go the Raiders. Yeah, we're going to talk about the footy soon, Aussie. Phil Taylor. Righto. Slacken again. Anthony Wicks. G'day, Wixie. How are you? And I think Jace Muller might be coming on this morning for a quick chat. If Jace comes on, I haven't seen him in the thing yet. But hey, let's get into some morning news. That's enough shout outs. I'm going to go to Townsville this afternoon, guys, see the old girl. So this morning's going to be taken up with this. And then me and Raff are in the Forby, in the BT50, and we're going down to Townsville. If the highway's open, I better check that. I think it is. It was shut there for a while because of the floods. I think the highways, I've got to take the Raffle books down, everyone. Speaking of which, that'll be my first topic. So I got 65 of these. These are the ones I handmade, everyone, the Raffle books, Raffle's kids books. I got 65 of these, thanks to Brett from SMG Sports and Barry from Wide Bay Trailers, who gave me the money to produce these, because it wasn't cheap, guys, buying the laminated pouches for each page, getting the photocopying done and all that. I did all the labour of that myself, obviously, and whatever, but I had to go out and buy a binding machine and a laminating machine, and I paid for that out of my own pocket. But the actual photocopying and pouches, Brett and Barry's thing. So I'm going to go down to Townsville, guys, and 65 of these are going to be donated to Hope in a Suitcase for the foster kids. And Mum has got a shitload of Mum's crocheted blankets. So Mum said, I've got a lot of blankets here. So I'm going to go down, grab all Mum's crocheted blankets and give them to Karen from Hope in a Suitcase, along with 65 Raffle books, so they can start putting a little blanket and a Raffle book in all the suitcases for the foster kids going out to a new foster home, everyone. And obviously the Raffle books will go out with the younger kids, obviously. All the young kids will get a Raffle book. That's absolutely fantastic. And the actual real books are being made as we speak over in China because of the price. And they're almost made, and they'll be on a ship soon, hopefully, over to us. And I've ordered 500. So stay tuned for that. And the live feed when we do our book launch, the Raffle book launch, it's going to be, I pulled the plug on this. This was just too time consuming trying to make them myself. So Brett got on and found a supplier in China that can make hard-covered kids' books and that, and they look like they're really good. About $5 each. In Australia, it was going to cost us $25 to get them made. So we've, obviously for charity, we've gone to China, and when they come in, there's going to be 500 of them. We're going to do a book launch. When they arrive, guys, it's going to be a book launch on YouTube, and Rob Richmond is going to be on, guys. Rob was responsible for doing all the, through AI and that. Rob's very good with AI, getting all the pictures and that done to match the word, to match the wording and that. And Brett is going to come out of hibernation, everyone, out of his cave and show his face on YouTube. Brett said, Buck, I've been trying to get Brett on a live feed for many years, everyone, and he won't do it. But for this, because Brett's been a big part of this, Brett said, Buck, I'll come on. I'll come on and do the book launch with you. So that's going to be really, really great to see. Finally, everyone gets to see Brett. He's been behind the scenes all these years helping us out, everyone. And Steve, can you believe that? Brett said he'd actually come on a live feed. Hasn't happened yet, But he said he was serious. He said, Buck, I'll come on for the book launch. He said, I'll come on for it. So Rafa said Lassie was a hussy, everyone. I won't say any more about that. I might get myself in trouble. Oh, dear. Hey, I know I'll save the joke to just before I go on to my executive orders. So let's do some footy scores. All you people down in Victoria and that who don't follow the rugby league are probably throwing shit at your computer now going, Buck's going to, I'm just going to do the scores. John's over in the US going, not bloody rugby league scores. So the NFL's finished, John, and the rugby league sees the NRL, National Rugby League, has started here in Australia. We're just had our third round. I think it's 26 rounds and that before the final series. Melbourne Storm, Thursday night, good game. Melbourne Storm 30, Penrith Panthers 24. That was a really good game. That was a replay of last year's grand final when Penrith got up. Penrith lost Nathan Cleary, their best player, early in the game, guys, and they still went close to beating the Storm. Don't write Penrith off, guys. They are still a very, very good team. They're going to be up there at the end of the year for sure. And I'll tell you who I thought might contend for the wooden spoon this year, but when they're at home, they're a good team. The New Zealand Warriors over the ditch in New Zealand, guys, 14 beat Sydney Roosters 6. So the Warriors had another win. I think that's 2 in a row for them at home. So well done to the Warriors. This one here was a shit fight, everyone. This was an absolute shit fight. Brisbane Broncos 26, North Queensland Cowboys 16. The Cowboys have got big problems, everyone. Big problems. And the first thing they need to do is get rid of their coach, Todd Payton. He's got to go. Enough's enough. I tell you now, I'm not trying to be funny now. I could coach that team better than what he's doing. They got no mongrel about them, one out running, they're unfit. And the other night, Phil Gould, the commentator, said, have a look at it. The ball's in play, and there were 5 Cowboys players around the water bottle trying to get a drink of water while the ball was in play because they're unfit, they're slow, one out running. No one knows how to offload the ball in the forward pack. Dear, oh dear. And it was only the Broncos. The Broncos aren't going real well this year either. So anyway, the Cowboys, they're going to be down the bottom with Parramatta for the wooden spoon, everyone. I'm calling it now. I've got no faith in my team this year. They got big problems. There's a few players in there that need to go. Jordan McLean's one of them, the laziest front rower in the competition. Anyway, we'll get off that. I get angry when my team loses. Sharks, I didn't see this game. I missed this game. Cronulla Sharks, 27. South Sydney Rabbitohs, 12. Sharks, they're going to be up there at the end of the year too. They're looking good. This one here, Roz's fins down, everyone. Fins down. Roz's spewing. Dolphins, 18. Tigers, 30. Now, the old West Tigers, how good are they going? They are doing well. And isn't it good? They've been down the bottom all these years now. Isn't it good to see the Tigers doing well? I love seeing the Tigers do well. You don't like to see the same team down the bottom all the time. Tigers, they may not be up there at the end of the year contending for the grand final, everyone, but you just want to see them go up the ladder and give the top 8 a nudge. And I don't mind the Tigers. It's good to see them doing well. Jerome Luai looks happy there. Happy Coruscant. They got some good players, haven't they? So well done to the Tigers. Titans looked sharp last night in patches, didn't they? They're not a bad team. If they can click, if the Gold Coast Titans can click, they're a good team, everyone. Need to David Fafita's a bit like Tamalolo. Need to put a rocket up under his ass and fire him up a bit. So the Titans 26, Newcastle boys, all the Newcastle boys, they'll be throwing shit at their computer about now. Knights 6, they looked out of sorts last night, the Newcastle Knights. A lot of drop ball, just didn't click for them last night, but the Titans were good. The Titans were too good for them last night. And today we've got Parramatta Eels. Go back to 1980, everyone. Back to the 80s. The 2 big teams from the 80s, Parramatta Eels and the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Russ's team, everyone. So the Eels and the Dogs are on today. The Dogs should do that, even though Para's at home. But the Dogs are without the skunk. He's had his skunk haircut taken off, actually. You know what I'm talking about. Burton, their kicker, is out, and so is Viliami Kickout, who's another good player that the Cowboys let go when he was a young junior. Well done, Cowboys. How many good, the Hammer, all these good players that we let go will turn into superstars. So the Eels and Dogs this afternoon, and this will be a cracking game. Paulie Martin's Manly Warringah Sea Eagles, guys. The Sea Eagles up against Ricky's Raiders, the Canberra Raiders. That will be a cracking game. I think that's the main game this afternoon. I might be down in Townsville to watch that one, hopefully. So that'll be a good game, Manly Raiders. That'll be an absolute beauty. So there's the footy scores. I'm not going to run. I know a lot of you don't follow the rugby league, so I won't keep going on about it. Phil, there's a bit of banter going on in the chat room from where I could see. Jennifer G saying, go the Broncos. Jennifer, I'm going to block you right now for going for the Broncos. They did a job on my Cowboys. Jennifer, I know Kaz has said it on his channel, and I hope you don't mind me saying it here, everyone, but Jennifer lost her mum the other day, apparently. I heard this on Kaz's channel, everyone. So, Jennifer, mate, we're thinking of you, and it's never good when you lose one of your parents. It's bloody tough time. So, we're thinking of you anyway, and I hope you're okay, and I hope you're doing all right. So, you know, I lost my dad 9 years ago, guys, and it still bloody cuts me deep now, you know, that he's not around. So is Roz. So it's bloody horrible losing one of your parents, isn't it? But it happens to all of us. Eventually, our time runs out, everyone. One thing that shouldn't happen is parents seeing their kids go before them. That one isn't good at all. So, John's saying the Dallas Cowboys are as useless as the North Queensland Cowboys. Absolutely, mate. They should play each other. They probably both lose. Should play each other in a game of, I don't know, like a game of soccer or something, and they probably both lose. They're that useless. Dear, oh dear. Yeah, so Jennifer lost her mum, everyone. So, bloody terrible news. It's never good when someone in the community loses a loved one, is it? Not good at all. Hey, listen, some more sad news too. One of the best heavyweight boxers of all time passed away yesterday, apparently. George Foreman, everyone. What a magnificent boxer. And you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong here. Marky Lavelle might be able to. I think the only person who ever put George Foreman on his ass was Muhammad Ali. I don't think anyone else knocked George Foreman off his feet. He was one tough dude. What a fantastic heavyweight boxer. Back in the days when heavyweight boxers were real heavyweight boxers, unlike the bloody clowns that are in there now that are all in it for the money and only box once every 2 years or something. These guys used to get in the ring and slug it out and actually used to throw a lot of punches, and a lot of them used to land. They were just tough men. Ali, George Foreman, and guys like that. But George, he was still mixing it with the young fellas when he was in his 40s, guys, in the ring. He was just a tough man. And then he went on to create the lean, mean grilling machine. Does anyone own a lean, mean grilling machine? One of his, the George Foreman cooker. And it was like a press, a sandwich press. And all the fat used to flow forward and into a tray. So it was like a healthy way to cook all your sausages and meat and everything. All that used to drain all the fat off into a tray. And it was called the lean, mean grilling machine, the George Foreman machine. I think I had one at one stage. I can't remember now. I'm sure I did. It could be even hiding in the cupboard somewhere. So Dwayne Duffy said, I've got one. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Thing. So sad news there. George Foreman, everyone. What an absolute magnificent bloody boxer he was. Just a tough dude. Absolutely. Like, he's one of these guys, when you see him in interviews and that, and they're talking about his grilling machine, he just seemed like a real gentle giant. But boy, oh boy, you wouldn't cross him, would you? And I've heard other boxers reckons he had the hardest punch of anyone in the heavyweight division. They reckon when you got hit by George Foreman, you knew you'd been hit. It used to rock him, they reckon. and he could take a punch too. And the only person who put him down that I know of was Muhammad Ali. And Ali put about 30 on him before he went down. He was a tough dude. He made more money out of the grill machine than he did out of boxing, Brent. Well, back in those days, mate, they weren't getting paid obscene amounts of money like Tyson Fury and all them do now, were they? They used to box, they used to box four or six times a year back then. Every couple of months they were in the ring. Now, these blokes don't want to get in the ring. They're all avoiding each other. Now, Blackers, I'm glad you said that. I was going to think, that's what happens. Don't worry about George Foreman. That's what happens when you don't cook Roz eggs in the morning, everyone. Roz has got a good right hook on her, let me tell you. She said, cook me some eggs. And I said, no, I'm tired. And she went, whack one on me. No, that's yet another skin cancer. Guys, if you're wondering why my face is a bit rough around the edges, I've had a lot of them taken out. So Marky Lavell's just sent me a thing, everyone. Marky Lavell's just sent me a text, everyone. And guess what the photo is on it? It's a George Foreman lean, mean grilling machine. So Marky's got one. He's just sent me the, Steve Richards saying to Jennifer, sorry for your loss, Jennifer. Yeah, that's from all of us, Steve. Bloody condolences from everyone in the thing, Jennifer, for the loss of your mum. Bloody terrible news. And I only knew about that because I was watching Kaz's live feed the other night, and Kaz mentioned it on there, and everyone from Kaz's channel was sending their well wishes and that to Jennifer as well. So anyway, we're thinking of you, Jennifer, and stay strong, mate. Stay strong. You've bloody taken some hits over the years, and this is just another one. But it all happens to us at times, doesn't it? Roz's mum and my mum are getting old now, and you're always thinking, when's their time coming? And you don't like to think about it, but you got to be real about it as well. Roz's mum's 92 now. My mum's 83. Me and Gidgey's mum. You don't live forever. That's a good innings, isn't it? 92 for an Indigenous woman to be 92. Absolutely fantastic. And that's testament to a clean, healthy life. Roz's mum, being brought up on the islands for all those years until she was, I don't know what age Roz's mum was when she came down from the islands, when Roz's dad come down to work on the railways back in the 60s, I think, early 60s. So for maybe 20 years or something, Roz's mum lived on the islands, living off fish and bloody coconuts and stuff like that. They didn't have shops and all that type of stuff. So, healthy living and that, guys. No smoking and all that, and you can have a long, healthy life. Tony Purdy's on. G'day, mate. How are you? I haven't seen or heard from you for a while. Hope you are well, Tony. Good to hear from you, mate. Absolutely. Lynn must be up and running. Lynn must have got a computer up and running. 92 is great. Lost my mum 2 weeks ago. She was only 80. Well, there's another one who's lost a mum, guys. Lynn Rogers. Lynn, was sorry to hear that. Dear, oh dear. Another one. So, yeah, that's terrible news, Lynn. We're sorry to hear that, mate. 80 years old. Yeah, you'd like to think you can get a bit more than 80, but at the end of the day, there's people out there with cancer and all that type of stuff that go, kids with cancer passing away. That one breaks your heart, doesn't it? Speaking of cancer, everyone, did everyone see the Mr. Buckaroony Facebook page with, speaking of cancer, someone who battled breast cancer and beat it? Gail Rowlings, guys. Gail, and it wasn't one of these. It was one of the 7 hardcovered, Australian-made hardcovered books that Rob Richmond got up. Gail bid $580 for that book, guys, and she sent me a photo through of her reading the Raffle book to her 4 grandsons. What a fantastic photo that was. Absolutely made my day seeing that. I'll put it up on Facebook. If you haven't seen it, that's what this community is all about. Don't think it's all about negative stuff like what we're going to talk about this morning. But the real Mr. Buckaroony still into the the community spirit guys and the charity and all that type of stuff. That's always going to be my number one thing. This is a bit of a side shoot, something I enjoy doing, is stirring people up with. Oh no! So now that's Mayo. Like Marjolaine lost her mum probably over in Holland. Jack, I'm tipping over in Holland 5 weeks ago, aged 90. Oh dear. Did Mayo go over for that, Jack? Did Mayo go? I'm tipping it was back home in Holland, mate. So, well, Marjolaine, Mayo lost her mum too, aged 90. Dear oh dear. No more, please. That's 3 today. That's enough, everyone. We don't want to hear it. Dear oh dear. You know, we're all around. A lot of us are around the same age in this thing. So it means our parents are getting old, everyone. It means our parents are getting old. So it's life, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's life. Let's hope they had a good life. They didn't suffer before they went, and that's all we can hope for, eh? You just don't want to go out in pain and all that type of stuff. You just want to not wake up one morning, eh? That's probably the best way to go. M's on, g'day. Rumble in the Jungle against Ali was George Foreman's first pro loss. He was only beaten 5 times in his career, 78 wins and 68 knockouts. Well, there you go. They reckon he had the hardest punch in the business. The Rumble in the Jungle, yeah, George Foreman. Boy, oh boy. Unbelievable. Oliver family's on. Yeah, did anyone see me the other day? I was out on a drive with one of the students, and we came across, we're at a suburb of Innisfail called Coquette Point, and you quite often see him out there. Big male cassowary and 2 chicks, and with him. And if anyone's seen it, you see when my window went down, he come straight for the car. Oh, wound the window up. He looked in the window. He stepped back, wound it down a bit more. He came back up. People have been feeding him bananas and fruit and everything. Cassowaries they'll eat anything, but they love fruit. They're supposed to be vegetarians, cassowaries. I've seen them down at Eddie Bay eating fish and chips and everything. They just come up to someone. Someone will be having their fish and chips on the beach. The cassowary just walks. People go, oh, and just run away from their fish and chips, and the old cassowary's pecking away. And the next thing, a whole bloody piece of battered Spanish mackerel's gone down the gob. They're buggers, eh? And they just intimidate you to feed them. They're bloody. You don't want to get on the wrong side of a cassowary. They are most aggressive bloody bird. When they get cranky, they are scary things, and they got bloody middle claws on them like swords. So someone's actually been killed by a cassowary in Australia. A bloody disemboweled him many years ago. I read that story. Apparently reared up, hit him in the stomach, disemboweled him, killed him. They got claws on them like a bloody velociraptor. Unbelievable. Where's the battered sav? I'm on a health kick at the moment, guys. I haven't had a piece of bread or anything for a couple of weeks now, and I have lost a couple of kilos. So I'm going to stay on the wag until I get under 100 kilos. And then I'll do me battered sav cook-up, guys, in the shed. I'm going to do a battered cook-up. I'm going to make potato scallops, battered savs. What else am I going to? I'm going to batter everything up. And do a cook-up. But I want to lose a couple of kilos before I do that, and then I'll put it all back on again. Oh, dear. So that's about it, guys. That's about it for morning news. Now, listen, if kids are still watching, it's probably time for them to check out everyone, because we're going to go through my executive orders. Bear with me, please, everyone. I've got to open a second screen up, go into YouTube so I can do the poll. Sorry. I forgot. I should have done it before. YouTube. YouTube's just been dominated at the moment with USA, Canada. What submarines is Canada going to buy? Are they going to cancel the F-35s and everything? So it's bloody big news. Here we go. So that says I'm live at the moment. I've got to turn that down. All right, now I just got to turn the volume down to that. So now I can go in and do a poll. I'll get this one now. Start a poll, and it'll be yes or no. Executive Order 1. I'll go back, so I'll just preset it. Righto, we're ready to go now. Hey, I'm going to start off. I'm going to start off with a joke. Gidgey told it to me yesterday. It's an absolute beauty. What's the difference between a magician's wand and a policeman's baton? Does anyone know? What's the difference between a magician's wand and a policeman's baton? A magician's wand is used for cunning stunts. If that's gone over your head, have a think about it. A magician's wand is used for cunning stunts. There you go. Have a think about it. I like that. I like these quirky jokes that you've got to think about. And when they hit, it's like, yeah, Lorna got it. Who else? Lorna's the only one who's got it so far. Marky Lavelle got it. Jennifer G's got it. Terry G's got it. Put a smiley face up if you like it. Pete McMurtry got it. Yeah. So the magician's wand's used for cunning stunts. You've got to be careful not to get around the wrong way. But the policeman's baton, yes, you get it around the other way, and that's exactly what they're used for. Another funny story once. This big bloke playing up one day when I was a copper. He's about 6'6". I remember his name still. His first name was Dallas. I won't say his last name in case someone knows him. And he was always in the shit with us. Hated cops. One of these big intimidating prick. Hated coppers. Me and a bloke called Greg Bartlett, my partner that day, he'd had a domestic with his missus or something down outside the golf club. And we got called down there, and he's going off. And his missus is over in the car, and she's screaming at us, this arsehole. They'd had a big domestic outside the golf club. So anyway, as we turn up, he starts giving us a gobful. So I said, righto, mate. He had a DV order against him, so he'd obviously breached it by doing something to his missus. I said, you're under arrest for breaching a domestic violence order. Get in there. And I normally always went out in the paddy wagon or the troopy because it had a cage in the back you could throw them in. This day we're in the frigging Commodore in a sedan. I hated being in those things. Bartlett loved doing his traffic work, guys, and he's a traffic cop still to this day, apparently. So he loved doing traffic work. So he'd always sign out one of the sedans, either the Ford Falcon or the Commodore back in the day, so he could do his traffic work. When I went out, because we're general duties, I used to love just getting the paddy wagon. So if you come across a grub, you could throw them in the back at Mark III. Anyway, we only had the Commodore. And I didn't like doing that because you put a grub in the back of the sedan, so kick the side windows and that out in it. So we go to arrest him. He starts playing up. Anyway, he was a big dude, about 6'6", towered over us. So we got him halfway into the back of the Commodore, both of us wrestling him, got him into the back of the Commodore. If it was the paddy wagon, we could have just tipped him up and thrown him in. But a bit hard to get in a Commodore, the back thing. Anyway, we got him in, but before we could close the back door, he kept getting his arm out so we couldn't close the door. And he was gripping onto the roof of the Commodore, couldn't get him inside. Got him inside, but couldn't, and he just keep getting his arm out. And I said, that's right. We did capsicum spraying, but that was after. I said to Bartlett, because he was in and we're trying to shove him in, he kept getting his arm out. Before we could close the door, his arm had come out and he pushed the door open, trying to get his legs to push the door open. Said to Bartlett, next time his arm comes out, I'm going to give him one with a baton. So we had the extendable ass battens. So I took my baton out and I went, cracked her open. So out his arm comes and I've wound her up. I was going to try and break his forearm because he was a piece of shit. This wasn't the first time I dealt with him. So I've wound her up and I've gone whack. And just as I brought the baton down, he's moved his arm and I've missed. And the ass battens have got a round metal tip on the end of them. Anyway, I've missed, and I've put a hole straight through the roof of the cop car. It just punched like a sardine can, just went straight through and just put a big dent and actually punctured the roof of the police car. That's when the capsicum spray come out. John's probably laughing now. I'm sure John's been in, ex-Oregon police officer. John's probably been in a lot of situations like this as well. So he copped the face full of capsicum spray. It went all through the back seat of the Commodore. And we finally got him back to the police station and gave him some water. And he was a piece of shit, that bloke. But, yeah, John's saying I hated the ASBAT. And, yeah, I did. Mate, I only used it a couple of times. I used it to ream a window out on a car that reamed us one day. And then I filled that cabin up with capsicum spray as well. It did come in handy at times. But it got to the stage where I just took it off because of the weight of your belt. By the time you have your Glock on, a couple of magazines and your radio, your baton, what else did I used to carry? Oh, little first aid kit and stuff like that. It was heavy. It was bloody heavy. And I thought, I got to, because I chased a young fella one day. He had a bag of dope in his pocket, and I was about to search him. I could see him getting a bit jittery. And I said, don't you run on me anyway. He's gone. So I've started chasing him. And I was a lot fitter back in those days. And for about 200 metres, I kept pace with him. And then it was like someone threw a bag of cement on my shoulders because of the weight of that bloody utility belt with a gun and all that shit. I even yelled out, stop or I'll shoot. And I thought, I didn't even take me Glock. You're not allowed to take your Glock out. He was just running away from me. So I did see him throw a bag of dope into the cane field. I never ever found it, and I never ever found that little turd either. He probably walks past me in town now going, I got away from that bloke when he was a copper. And if I knew who it was, I'd still get him to this day for bloody embarrassing me. Yeah, I was going all right. I thought, I'm keeping up with this little turd. He was just in runners and shorts and T-shirt. I had all the shit around me waist, and I was keeping track with him until someone threw a bag of cement on his shoulders. I ran out of puff. Bastard. And I didn't even find the bag of dope that he had in his pocket. He threw that into a cane field. So there you go, a couple of funny stories. I did charge that bloke, John. I did charge him with willful damage to the police car because it was his actions that caused me to put the baton through the top of the police car. So he got done for willful damage and had to pay the repair costs to the cop car. The senior sergeant was not very happy with me when I came back and said, hey, boss, there's a hole in the top of the police car. How'd that happen? I said, from my baton. I didn't even get to break his arm with it either. If I got to break his arm and do that, it would have been worth it, but I missed him. Anyway, yeah, it would have been the best joke. Yeah, everyone would have been going, Buck bloody put a hole in the cop car. Would have been the Diddly Donk of the Week award for that one, for sure. Righto, so now it's going to get a little bit controversial, everyone. Now, all these executive orders, Nikki Slade said, but Australia doesn't have executive orders. I know that. This is just a bit of a piss take when Trumpy come in and doing all these executive orders. Well, this is just to create some conversation. Some of you out there today are going to disagree with me, guys, and that's fine. At the end, I'm going to put the link up, and some of you will be able to come on. If you agree with me, you'll be able to come on and say, yeah, Buck, I agree. If there's something I've got wrong or I've missed out and you want to add to it, click the link, come on. If there's something you totally disagree with, come on. As I said, like everything, we keep it respectful, but don't just come on and go, I disagree with you. Tell me why and give me a solution. So don't ever just go, that's bullshit. So, all right, it's bullshit. What's the solution? What's the solution? So always come to the table with a solution is the old saying, everyone, isn't it? So here we go. Sherry Kelly, do we vote as each order is read? Yeah, no, Sherry, what I'll do is I'm going to bring up the executive order. I'm glad you said that. I'll explain it. I'm going to bring the executive order up on the screen, everyone. Give you my views, and then I'm going to go into that second screen and go start a poll, and it'll just have EO1, Executive Order 1, and you vote yes or no. Be honest. Just because I say something, I want your honest opinion here. Okay, and I don't know who's voted yes and who's voted no. It doesn't work that way, guys. So be honest and listen. If I come up with something, there's one there that's really controversial. If I see the majority say 60% no, 40% yes, I know I'm right on the wrong path, and that a lot of you guys out there disagree with me, and that is an incorrect call. But anyway, I'll be interested to see your decision. be honest. If you don't agree with me, please vote no. And then if you want later on in the live feed, I won't take too long going through. There's about 16 executive orders. And then I'll put the link up and you can come on and have your say. If there's something there that you really want to come on and have your say, make sure you click the link when I'll put it up at the end of the executive orders and come on. So here we go, everyone. Add to stage. Here it is. Mr. Buckarooni's executive orders for when he becomes Prime Minister of Australia. Now, I've made some controversial, everyone. There are a lot of controversial ones, and I'm going to explain myself on the way through. Here we go. A lot of these first ones are exactly what Trump did when he got in. And when he first started, I agreed with some of his executive orders. I went, he's on the money there. He's on the money there. And then he went, after a couple of weeks, he went rogue, and I'm off him at the moment. But some of his first executive orders I agreed with. And this is where you guys come in. Chrissy, how'd your house, mate? I hope your house is back to normal. We'll talk about that a bit later. Maybe you can, Chris, if you want to come on a bit later on, mate, in the link and tell us how you went in the floods, you're welcome to do so, mate. So here we go. First executive order. This one's straight out of Trump's mouth as well, and I agree with it. There are only two genders, male and female. No other gender identification will be accepted on any Australian documentation. All government documentation from this day forth, so I've just got in as Prime Minister of Australia, will remove anything other than male or female. How many forms do you fill out now, everyone? And it's got gender, male, female, other, or male, female, gender neutral. Bullshit. You're either a boy or a girl. That's the way God designed it, everyone. That's the way it is. Adam and Eve, all that shit. We can sit here and we get into religion and all that shit. I'm not going to do that. That's one thing I don't like talking about on this channel. But to me, you're either a male or a female. If you were born a male and you've still got a penis and you get a set of bolt-on tits, that does not make you a female. You are still a male. I'll give you an example. We had a lot of people in the prison, male prisoners. I used to entertain this shit in Queensland corrections and probably a lot of corrective services places. I'm gonna transition and become a female. And we actually had a couple there in the prison that were going through their, hormone therapy to give them tits and all this. And the taxpayer used to pick up the friggin' bill for it, everyone. Did you know that? That in the prisons, when a male prisoner says, I want to transition and become a female, and then they start on all this ridiculously priced medication or whatever they do to go on that, hormone replacement therapy and all this shit, the taxpayer is picking the bill up for that. Absolute bullshit. It used to make me sick seeing that. And because transgender prisoners, they're still a male, transgender, I want to transition. Next thing you had all these little psychs coming up and speaking with them and friggin' promoting this bullshit in prison. And next thing you know, they got special buy-ups. So canteen, they could buy eyeliner and all this shit. Prison officers, we used to sit there shaking our head. And that's one of the reasons why I was so fucking angry when I left that job, guys. I had so much anger and hate built up inside me. I had to go and see a psych for 6 months to try and get rid of it. It was just building up, and I know a lot of screws are like it. They let the frustration get to them because we just have to sit back and watch all these do-gooders at the top making these ridiculous. And then, can you believe that they were thinking at one stage of, there was a couple of transgender people there that actually were starting to grow tits and all this type of shit. They're still males. And they were thinking of putting them over in the female prison. And everyone was going, you have got to be shitting me. That is a recipe for disaster. Good luck when he rapes one of the women over in the female prison. He's still got a dick. They were thinking of doing that. And they probably will down the track if they keep doing it. So to me, guys, you're a male or a female. That is it. There is no neutral, trans, all this bloody fluid. I don't even understand all the terminology, and I don't even want to, because it is absolute bullshit. There's my rant on it. There's only two genders, male or female. Every piece of Australian documentation, friggin', off it comes. You're either a male or a female. If you've got a bloody doodle between your legs, you're a male. That is it. Just because you've got a set of plastic tits doesn't mean you're a girl. You've still got a penis. You're born a male. You're still a male. Maybe if they go through with the operation and become a full female, then that would have to change then. But boy, oh boy, while they've got one between their legs, everyone. Anyway, start a poll. Bucks executive order number 1. I said they're going to be controversial, and they are. They're all going to be controversial, everyone. Have you say, can you everyone see the poll? I'll soon. Yeah, here we go. It's starting to come up now. So I'll go back. We'll have another little bit of a chat. We'll let that go for a couple of minutes, and we'll go back and let you know what the poll is. That's my take on it. And as I said, guys, if you know more than me, and I may be a little bit bloody narrow-minded, I've got the blinkers on with a lot of this type of stuff. I'm old-fashioned, yes. But I tell you now, back in my day, this shit wasn't even a thing. It wasn't. I got itchy nose again. I'm doing a live feed. I got itchy nose. This wasn't a thing back in my day when I was a young fella growing up. My dad, my granddad, they saw this shit now. They'd be rolling over in their graves, guys, going, what the fuck has this country come to? What has the world come to when this shit is going on? Some people out there may disagree with me. If you do, you want to have your say and say, Buck, you're totally off. You're totally wrong. I don't know. But to me, you're either a boy or a girl. And that's what Donald Trump did when he got in, and it was one of his first executive orders, and it's going to be mine. G'day, Lukey. How are you, mate? Hope you're all right. Jace? Just went and bought a new hairdryer. A new dryer. I was going to say, Jace, you do not need a hairdryer. A new clothes dryer. Righto, there you go. Dear, oh dear. So let's go over and have a look at the how the poll's going, everyone. Remember, if you disagree with me, okay, there's a couple of people that disagree, which is good. I knew this would be a high percentage. It's at 94% yes at the moment. So there's 6% out there that disagree with my first executive order, and that's fine. And as I said, at the end, you're quite welcome to come on. Anyone who wants to dispute anything I've said here, and it's all to do with creating discussion, everyone, okay? We keep it respectful. If you want to disagree with me, come on. We'll keep it respectful. Sherry Kelly, I have no problem with transgender, but until the operation, they're either a male or female. Yeah. That's what this question's about, Sherry, is until you've had the operation, you're a male or a female. There is no in between. You're not a cat. You're not a dog. You're not a friggin' fluid tree. What's that? All that shit. You're not a male. It's Sam Smith, that friggin' singer. One day he's a male and one day he wants to be a female. Bullshit. That's just garbage. We all know it. It's absolute crap. You're either a male or a female till you get the operation, Sherry. Yeah, and I think I did say that. If someone wants to be transgender I don't agree with it, but if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. There is another executive order a bit later on, guys, where there is a place where that is not on, and I'm not going to tell you about that yet, but that's coming up soon. No, Steve, gays, there's nothing to do with being gay, mate. Transgender and gays, two totally different things, mate. We're not talking about lesbians or gay men, or puffs as we used to call them in the old days. Apparently you can't say that anymore. Transgender is totally different to gay and lesbian, I think, mate. It's a different category. And I'll just say it right now, I have nothing against gay and lesbian people. Okay? Nothing whatsoever. And don't mistake my views on transgender into the gay and lesbian part, guys. Someone's already done that on an old live feed, and I even said, if you're gay or lesbian, I don't care. That is your prerogative. but you're still a male or a female, aren't you? If a male wants to be gay, he's still a male. It just means he wants to be with another male person. If that's what you want to do, fine. If a girl's a lesbian and wants to marry or be with another female person because that's what they want to do, fine. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Don't get that shit mixed up with transgender, everyone. Male or female, Tiger Lily saying, all right, we've spent enough on this. Let's go back and let's finish the poll. If I can get back into that screen. Let's bring that up. End poll. 93 yes, 7 no, everyone. 93 yes, 7 no. So there's the poll. I knew that one would be high. And if anyone who disagrees with that, you're welcome to come on towards the end and we'll have a quick chat about it, okay? How anyone can be anything but male or female, come on and explain it to me, please, because maybe I'm ignorant. Maybe I'm ignorant. And if anyone thinks you can identify as a cat or a dog, you need to go and get mental health assessment done, okay? Because that's just another whole new fucked up area. That is just bullshit. That's mental. We're going into mental health bloody territory there. We really are. So anyway, let's start a poll, and it's just going to be start a poll. It's going to be EO Executive Order 2. I'm going to go back to the screen now. Here's my second executive order, everyone. Any person born a male and still has male genitals shall not be permitted to enter a toilet or restroom designated for females. To do so, you will be committing an offence. So, if you are a male person, you have a penis, you're bold-on tits, you identify as a female, whatever you want to identify as, and you still got a penis, you do not go into a female toilet, whether a young girl. I'll give you an example. There's a bloke on JB's TV on Facebook, big tradie looking guy. His 11-year-old daughter, he was in the shopping centre one day, and his young girl said to him, Dad, I'm just going to go into the toilet. And he said, yeah, no worries, love, I'll wait outside for you, as every dad would do. His daughter goes into the toilet. This is at a shopping centre. And some person, a thing that obviously looked like a male person, went to walk into the female toilet. And JB said, hey, mate, the male toilet's over here. And this guy said to JB, oh, I identify as a female. I'm going in and using this one. And JB said, no, you're fucking not, mate. My daughter's in there. If you walk into that toilet, you fucking won't come out in one piece. Anyway, this bloke walked off. And JB pulled him on, guys. And good on him. And so he should. You friggin' men thinking they're a woman going into a female toilet. What happens if they go in there and rape a young girl or rape a female in that toilet? So there you go. There's my thing on it. If you got male genitals, you don't go into a friggin' female toilet. And just because you got tits on, don't pull the old, I can't go into a male toilet, I've got bolt-on tits. Stiff shit. You got a penis, you go into a male toilet. It's the way it is. There you go. Let's go over to the second page now. I'm going to start this poll. Start a poll. There you go. Bucks Executive Order number 2. This was another Trump one, I think, from memory, similar to a Trumpy one. So the poll's up now, guys. Vote away if you don't agree with me, by all means. 94%, I think it was, for the last one was yes. I think a lot of these ones will get a big majority yes vote, but if they do get a no vote, I'd love to hear from people and get you to explain why. Because maybe, as I said, I might be a bit naive, might be a bit old-fashioned, but we're going down the wrong path, guys. This world's fucked now. It really is. And this country is allowing this shit to creep in, and it's why our country is fucked. We need to get back to our core values, the values that our bloody mums, dads, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, that's what made this country such a great country, and we're watering it down now with all these bullshit things. So, I tried to get one arm cut off, and the doctor said I had a mental issue. I identify as armless, but I've got 2 useful arms. I tried to get one arm cut off. The doctor said I had a mental issue. Yes, I agree with the doctor. Jennifer, on that one, absolutely. Absolutely. If your arm's riddled with cancer and they've got to take it off to save your life, absolutely. But there was a couple of years ago here in Innisfail, there was a guy that had something wrong with his leg. And the doctors, I don't know what it was. It was pain shooting up in you anyway. He went to the doctors and said, I want you to chop me leg off. This isn't a joke. This is a fair income story. I want to chop me leg off. The doctors refused to do it. So he said to one of the Vanuatu boys that said, we got a large Vanuatu thing. They're in here working on the bananas and that. He said, mate, I want you to chop me leg off with a chainsaw. I'll give you $5,000 to do it. So the Vanuatu bloke went, that's a lot of money. So he chopped his leg off with a chainsaw down on the Esplanade here at Innisfail near the fish board, and old mate bled out and died. And that Vanuatu lad is now in jail awaiting trial for murder. Murder won't get up there because this bloke gave him permission to chop his leg off. It'll get downgraded to manslaughter, no doubt about that. That is a fair income story, everyone, and it happened in my town. And when it hit the news, people were texting me going, what is going on in that town of yours, Buck? Someone paid a bloke $5,000 to chop his leg off the chainsaw because he wanted his leg chopped off, and he did it. The bloke did it. He said, $5,000's $5,000. Here we go. Ring, 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 and took his leg off, and he bled out and died. And that poor bugger got charged of murder. Dear, oh dear. Righto, so there we go. We'll go back. I'll end the poll there. This one's bloody... Yeah, everyone agrees with me on this one. Everybody agrees with me on this one. If you've got male genitals, you do not enter a female thing. Fair enough. 100% on that one. There we go. Now, start a new poll. I'll just put up start a poll. Here's my next executive order coming up, everyone. EO3, Executive Order 3. I won't start it yet. Executive Order 3. I can't remember what it was now. Biological male. This is another Trump one that I agree with. Biological males shall not be permitted to participate in a female sports unless it is a recognised co-ed sport. Mixed netball or mixed touch footy. Fine. Let's not bloody thing. It's at the Olympics that obviously male boxer that said I'm a female and he flogged piss and pick handles out all the female boxers and got the gold medal. Bullshit. And I think Trump has said to the Olympic Committee and that if that shit happens, I'm not allowing that in my country. And we should do the same thing here during the Australia should be saying to the Olympic Committee now, we have a law in this country where males are not to participate in female sports, especially contact sports, everyone. Can you imagine males participating in female rugby league? Just no way. Or Aussie rules or anything, any of that type contact type sport. All right. There might be the one freakish female that could probably play in the NRL. I doubt it, but you see the standard of the women's rugby league, which is very good, but it's just the hits and all that type of stuff. The one of them got hit by Jason Tamalolo in a big tackle. You'd kill him. All right. The boxing, that boxing thing at the last Olympics was a disgrace. We all know that. So there you go. There's my other one. And I would be saying, as the Australian Prime Minister, I'd be ringing up the Olympic Committee and going, guess what? If you allow at the Olympics, we have a law in our country. If you go against that law, I'm going to cancel the Olympics right now, which I wish they would have done a long time ago. I wish we weren't having the Olympics here because we're going to embarrass ourselves. We're not going to be ready for it, I don't think. So there you go. Let's, I just closed that window, everyone. Sorry, I tried to click on it. I clicked the wrong thing. Dead set, Buck. This is turning into Rob the Wanderer bloody thing here. All right. Start a poll. What was that? Executive order number 3. Bucks EO 3. Start a poll. Let me know what you think on that. Should males be allowed to participate in female sports? I don't think they should, especially at the Olympics. I think it's absolute bullshit. And the big thing is, I'd be on, if I was the Prime Minister, I'd bring this into law and go, I don't care if you've got a set of bolt-ons, you're not a female and you're not playing sport against the girls. And you know what? A lot of the girls are starting to kick a stink up against it now and refusing to play against the males. There was a thing there where they put the American women's national soccer team up against a teenage. Oh no, sorry, that was the Matildas. I think that was the Australian Matildas guys played a game of soccer against like an under 15 boys team and got walloped about 9-0 or something. They got annihilated by an under 15 boys team, the national women's soccer team. And the same thing happened with the American female national team. They went up against a bunch of old retired soccer players like that had retired, and they got their asses whooped too. So, yeah. Fight sports, Jennifer. Yeah, no way. Can't have men fighting women. It's just not on. It's not fair. I mean, you get Amanda Nunes and that. They're fantastic fighters against other women, Ronda Rousey and all that. But you put them against a male MMA fighter the same way, they will get annihilated. They will get annihilated. So, yes, they're very good. They can fight. They can probably beat your average bloody fat bloke on the street that's never fought in his life. But when you put them up against another male MMA fighter, they would be annihilated. So, Chrissy Burns, 100% yes for orders 1 and 2 and agree with number 3. Good stuff, Chrissy. Keep voting. Keep voting. Let's go back. I think we've seen enough of that one. Okay, so this one here is a bit lower in the yes, everyone. Just let that go a little bit longer, everyone. 76% yes. So there's 23, 24% people out there that are saying that men identifying as females should be allowed to play in female sport. This is one I would love for you to come on and have your say and say why. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. All right, see ya. That was Gidgy. Gidgy's listening to the live feed while he's driving, guys. He's not watching, he's just listening to it. And he just rang me and said, Serena Williams once said, Serena Williams, who was probably the best female tennis player that's ever been, she was just unbeatable in a day, wasn't she? Unbelievable. She said, if I played Andy Murray or Andre Agassi or someone like that, they would have beaten me 6-love in about 6 minutes. And that was from Serena Williams, everyone. So we know how good Serena was, but she said in a fair dinkum tennis game, she wouldn't have stacked up against the males. There you go. And that was from Serena Williams. And John McEnroe copped a bit of heat once about saying, well, if the females want equal pay and all that, bring them into the male competition. But he said, you'll find that you'll never see a female in the quarterfinals or the semi-finals or the finals of one of the big competitions because they will not make it that far. And Serena Williams even said so. So there you go. That's right. John? Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong bloody screen. I hope I haven't cut that off again. I remember something about that, John. Who did Billie Jean King back in the 70s? She played someone. She tried to say that females were as good as males at tennis and all that, and someone wiped the court with her. Who was that against, mate? Billie Jean King, who was a bit of a female activist, and, you know, females can do everything. And she had a game against someone and got friggin' annihilated. I do vaguely remember that, John, yes. Very embarrassing for her. Yeah, Jenna, men are strong. Yes. I don't think they should, guys. You gotta. The swimming's another one. Yeah, bloody. You're a male, and you can't make it in the big time in the male swimming. You can't make it in the male swimming, and then you bloody go and get a set of bolt-ons and then compete against the girls and get a gold medal. It's just not fair, I don't think. Here we go. Okay, so there's a lot of people that disagree with me here. End the poll, 77% yes, 23% no. I'd love for some of you 23% to come on at the end and let me know why, please. Let me know why. I just don't think it's fair. I think it's bullshit. But there's 23% of people out there that think it is. So I'm just going to reset the start a poll. Executive Order 4. I'll just start the poll straight away. You don't know what it is yet. Don't vote yet, guys. I'm going to go back here. Executive Order number 4, everyone, coming up. This one I'm strong on. And if you haven't been in the military, guys, listen to what I've got to say. I know a lot of you haven't been in the military here. John was in the Marines. I'd love to see your opinion on this, John. John's ex-US Marine Corps, guys. Transgenders shall not be allowed to serve in the Australian Defence Force. The Australian Defence Force is forbidden to take part or promote anything to do with the Alphabet Gang and their activities. And I'm talking about, I did a live rant one night about the commanding officer of ADFA, Australian Defence Force Academy, that trains our young officers, said that everyone had to turn up, not wear a uniform for the day, and had to turn up in purple to support the LBGQ ABCD brigade. Absolute bullshit. Any member of the Defence Force that wishes to partake in the alphabet activities does so in their own time and are not permitted to wear their military uniform. Okay, and I'm talking, we'll use the Gay Mardi Gras, the Sydney Mardi Gras, which is a big event. I've got nothing against that, the Gay Mardi Gras, guys. I do have a thing when I see soldiers and sailors and airmen and people in their military uniforms on a fucking float at the Gay Mardi Gras. Do you think the men that stormed the shore at Gallipoli on the 25th of April, 1915, would approve of that shit? I do not think so. Or the men that were up at Kokoda fighting the Japs, or over in North Africa, or the men that were in the trenches at the Somme. Do you reckon they fought for that shit? No. And as an ex-soldier, I am fucking dead set against this shit, guys. It weakens it. If people want to be transgender or gay, and that is fine, but not in the military. Now, listen, I'm talking about transgender here. I'm not talking about gay and lesbian, everyone. There's nothing wrong with being gay or lesbian in the military. But keep it to yourself. Okay? Don't go in there sprouting off your agenda and thinking everyone should be just like you. When I was in the military, yeah, there were gay people in there, gay men. They didn't really make it known. It wasn't the done thing back in then. They would have been ostracized. Yeah, there were female lesbians in there and were quite open about it. But they did their job. They did their job. But the transgender side of it, guys, just weakens it. It weakens the military, and we can't have it. Trump's he's outlawed it in the United States, and I agree with it, and it should be the same here. If someone wants to go and get on a float in the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras, go and do it, but don't wear your military uniform. People have died for that frigging uniform, and I know a lot of them would not agree with that. And I used to see police officers up on the float, and when I was at the prison, all the women walking around with their vests on, with their fucking rainbow flags and that on their vest. It used to piss me off seeing that. We're dealing with prisoners and they're prancing around with their rainbow flags on. You know, it's bullshit. They used to send an email out, and on the bottom of the email would be the transgender flag and the Indigenous flags and that, but no Australian flag. And I used to go, where's the Australian flag? At the footer of their emails, the bosses, all the bosses that used to send their things out. All this bloody pro-left-wing bullshit. needs to try and jam it down your throat with the rainbow flag on their email. Fuck it off. There's no place for that. In the military, you send an email out, it has the Australian flag on the bottom. That is it. So let's see how we go here. There you go. 98%. It was 100. Someone's just voted against it. Oh, that's the transgenders shall not be permitted to serve in the Australian Defence Force. Transgenders, guys, not gay and lesbian. I'm not saying that a lesbian or a gay man can't be in the Defence Force. I'm not saying that. I'm talking transgender now, okay? Can't have male officers in the Australian Defence Force at the moment. There are some walking around in fucking skirts and lipstick and that on. That just weakened. How can a soldier down the bottom take orders from that? How can you possibly take that fucking person serious? Fix bayonets, mate, fucking over the top and that. And hang on, this bloke's got a fucking skirt on. And he's telling me to go over the top. Fix bayonets, heaps of smoke. Come on. Tonight to the Cook Islands. Phil Taylor's going to the Cook Islands. Half your luck, mate. Half your luck. So that one there, we'll end the poll, 98%. So 98% agree with me on that one. Okay. EO5. Let's go. Start a poll. EO5. EO5. Let's go back to my other screen. I've got to flick screens, guys. I can't do this through StreamYard. Executive Order number 5, guys. You're probably thinking I'm picking on transgenders at the moment. I am. Promotion of any of that stuff. Let's go back when I say I don't mind a gay man being a soldier. No problems with that. And I'll use him as an example. Heston Russell. Heston Russell, guys, has come out and said he's a gay man. He was a major in our commando unit and led troops in Afghanistan. And he was probably just what an officer should be. Absolutely great man. And he's come out as gay now. Got no problems with that. Got no problems with that. He obviously kept it to himself in the military, and he's bloody sticking up for the boys, sticking up for his commandos and special forces that were copping a lot of flack after Afghanistan about war crimes and that. A lot of them have been debunked and shown that the ABC doctored footage and all that type of stuff, saying Heston shot at blood. It wasn't even him on the rifle at the time. Okay, so he's a magnificent officer, that guy, and I got nothing but respect for him. He's come out as gay now. I don't give a fuck if he's gay. He was a wonderful officer. So don't think for a minute I'm trashing gay people or lesbians in the military. I'm targeting transgender. Promotion of any of this stuff in a LBGQ, and now I'm talking everything. I'm talking everything now, guys. In an Australian school, whether public or private, is to cease immediately. Any teacher found to be pushing this agenda at school is to be referred to the police for prosecution against the criminal code. Indecent treatment or dealings with a minor. Fucking get that one up, yes. Okay? This subject is not to be included in normal human biology or sexual education teachings at school. I never got to a year 11 and 12, but I think in human biology they teach, you're taught how a baby is created, how, the human biology back in our day, guys. There are teachers now telling school kids it's okay to become transgender and all that. Bullshit. If they want to do that, let them work it out for themselves when they leave school. Do not jam this shit down our kids' throats at school. It is fucking not on, okay? And Trump came out with the same shit, and I agree with him on it. All right? Our kids, especially our primary school kids. Roz's granddaughter, Alicia, when she was in primary school, she's gone to high school now, they were hearing about this shit in primary school. Bullshit. Let them be kids. Let them be kids. And if they want to be gay or lesbian, they'll work it out. They'll work it out in their later, when they leave school, whether they want to be gay or lesbian. They want to go and be transgender. God help us. Okay. Just don't go in the military and do it. But This shit can't be part of our school curriculum, everyone. Fucking our kids need to learn education, and that ain't it. So let's go. I've had me rant about that. You know where I'm coming from. Start a poll. Should they allow to be force this shit down our kids' throats at school? I'm talking right up to year 12, everyone. Sexual education and all that normal stuff is fine. That's all part of human biology and everything like that. Do not tell a kid in grade 6 or 7 at elementary school, John, for you, primary school, we call it, or even high school, and tell them, school kids, it's okay to be transgender and that. Fuck off. Stop putting shit in their head. All right? If a young girl in high school thinks she might be a lesbian down the track, let her be that, but don't force it on her. Let her make that decision for herself when she leaves school. When they leave after year 12, these kids will work out for themselves, as we all did. I worked out quite quickly. I like girls. Even when I was in primary school, I thought, when I grow up, I'm going to be a heterosexual. I like girls. There's probably people out there that probably said, oh, I know when I grow up, I think I'm interested in boys. That's fine. But you don't have teachers forcing it down their throat. And I've seen instances of that. I saw it in the prison once. I had this Indigenous guy come out of the video link room one day, and he was furious. He found out on the phone that teachers were forcing shit down his daughter's throat, saying it's okay to be a lesbian and all that at school, almost encouraging her to become a lesbian. He was furious, and he couldn't do anything about it because he was stuck in jail. And he told me he was almost crying. He was in a fit of rage. And I said, mate, I agree with you. It's fucking not on. So if your daughter wants to be a lesbian when she leaves school, that's fine. But keep the teachers out of it. Lesbian teachers trying to bloody force their ways on the kids. That's what I should have said from the start, guys. Like vegans. Good on you if you want to be a vegan. But don't force your shit onto me just because you think it's the only thing that should be. And same as people with religion trying to force it down your throat. We don't like having religion forced down our throat if we're not really religious. It's the same with this stuff. Right, let's go. 94, there you go. End poll, 94%. 6% reckons that they should be able to talk about that at school. No, I disagree. I just think it's putting shit in kids' heads that doesn't need to be there. They'll work it out for themselves when they leave school. So let's go. EO5. So EO6, start a poll, Executive Order 6. It's not all transgender this morning, guys. There is other stuff coming up. Here we go. I've worded this incorrectly, guys. Politicians, members of parliament that have served in parliament are not permitted to access their pensions until they're 60. That's probably all politicians' wages. If I was the Prime Minister, there will be no pay rises for politicians. They'll be frozen for 5 years because they're overpaid as it is. They all got their snouts in the trough. I'm going to start this because I know what you all agree with me on this one. If this isn't 100%, there's something wrong. So at the moment, I'm just going to let you know, if a member of parliament leaves, you know, they're on minimum of 160. Most of them are on about 200,000. That's just anyone who gets in as an MP, federal MP. The minimum amount of pension they get when they leave, say they get voted out, they get a minimum of 50% of the wage they were on when they were a politician. And the minimum that they would get per year is $84,500 for the rest of their lives. Minimum. And then if they've served 8 years or more, for every year they serve after 8 years, they get a 2.5% increase on that to a maximum of 75. So for someone who's, say, someone who's been in a long time, they get voted out finally, they'll end up getting 75% of their fortnight of what they are on when they were a politician. Now, You're probably thinking I'm talking about myself here, and I am, and every other veteran there. I did 20 years in the Army, everyone. Over 20 years. I was on the old pension scheme, DFRDB, which doesn't exist anymore. And I joined the military. John may have been the same. I think the US may have had a similar thing. Do 20 years in the military, serve your country for 20 years, you get a small pension for the rest of your life when you leave. And that happened to me. I retired out of the Army at 38. You're probably thinking, that's young. That's old for the Army. That's a young man's game in there, let me tell you. I went on to a pension. I get that every fortnight, guys. It started off at about 500 and something bucks a fortnight, and it's gone up with CPI and that over the years. So to let you know now, I get about just over $20,000 a year after tax on my DFRDB pension. It's now up to, that's what I get now, about 800 bucks a fortnight in the hand, roughly, my DFRDB pension. For doing 20 years in the Army, smashing my body, and now let me tell you, I'm feeling it now. My neck, my spine, my back, my knees, everything's rooted now from my 20 years in the Army. It is hard on the body, guys, especially the Army. It is hard on your body. They smash you for 20 years non-stop. And you come out on a pension, which I'm grateful for. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for what I get. It helped me help my daughter go through private school and uni. Okay, but you get someone who served there, being a politician, and then they come out on about a minimum of 84,000. Is that fair? When you've got a veteran that's done 20 years, went on operational service, could have been shot, and I was in places in East Timor I could have been fucking shot at. I wasn't, but I was in places where I put myself in that situation where if I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, shit could have gone down. Okay? And then you think, yeah, I'm on 20 grand a year. They tax that pension, by the way. That DFRDB pension is taxed. So they tax me on it. And that's the other thing. Should be friggin' non-taxed. You do 20 years. Go right back to the Roman days. Roman soldier served 20 to 22 years in the Roman army, and he was given a block of land and everything when he got out. Now, a lot of the Romans probably didn't make it through to 20 years because they were always in hand-to-hand combat. But if you got through 20 years in the Roman army, the Empire of Rome gave you your own block of land so you could start a farm and all that type of stuff. Okay? I think veterans, anyone who does 20 years for their country, when you sign the line, you sign that line willing to put your life on the line. When you sign that dotted line to join the military, guys, that's the way it is. John will agree with me. So yeah, no, it's bullshit, John. It's piss poor, mate. When you put that into your dollars, it's not real good. So certainly can't live off it. I couldn't retire at 38 and just live off my army pension, guys. I had to go and become a police officer and then a correctional officer. It was a nice little top up to those wages, but it's not enough to live on. Like, you know what I mean? And as I said, I'm not ungrateful for it, but when I see politicians getting out and getting 80-something thousand as a minimum, just because they've got that Lydia Thorpe piece of shit, when she gets voted out this election, my God, if she gets in again, there's something wrong with this country. She'll be on $80-something thousand a year for the rest of her life for being a racist piece of shit. Is that fair? When you got veterans that go overseas, put their lives on the line for the country, serve their country, and come out and get a measly little pension, they need to bring that bloody pension back. And I think that might be coming up soon. There you go. I've had my rant. You're probably thinking it's all about you, Buck. 98%. End poll, 98%. Yeah, exactly. Every time they get into power, there's a new prime minister. The first thing you hear about is a pay rise for members of parliament. Bullshit. Get your noses out of the trough, guys. It's a bloody gravy train. It really is. EO6. So I'll just start a poll. EO7's about to come up. Executive order number 7. What is that going to be, you ask? We're going to find out in 2 seconds. Any member of this, I thought it was coming up. Any member of the Australian Defence Force that serves 20 years or more continuous service shall receive a fucking tax-free pension until they die. This pension is based on rank attained at the age of discharge, which it was, formerly known as the DFRDB. What I'm trying to say now, guys, You do 20 years for your country in the military, you get a pension for the rest of your life. And I'm not talking about an $80,000 pension. I'm talking about a pension that helps you for the rest of your life as a thank you for what you've done. Yeah, you might have to go and get a new. It'd be nice to be on 100,000 for the rest of your life. That's unrealistic. I'm talking about getting a DFRDB pension. Stop taxing us on it. We friggin' earn it. Give us a tax-free pension that helps us out for the rest of our life. Yeah, we have to go and get another job. I don't expect you do 20 years in the army and you sit back and not have to do anything for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that. But give us a pension that's untaxed that helps us out for the rest of our life. So you don't have to go out and bust your guts until you retire at the age of 67. The other thing is we're having trouble getting people in the Defence Force. In my day, the Defence Force, probably like John was with the Marines, the Defence Force was a career, and you used to go in to your career recruiting centre, and it was called career. Get a career in the Army, get a career in the Navy. It was a career, guys, and it was a wonderful career. I did my 20. It was the bloody best 20 years of my life. Made some best mates, went to a lot of places, saw a lot of things. Bloody had some good times, had some shit times too, as you do. But it was a fantastic. I'm paying for it now. My body's paying for it now. But we've got to bring back DFRDB or a similar scheme. These young kids now go, mate, dude, give us 20 years, serve your country for 20 years. Yeah, that means signing on the dotted line. And if you have to go overseas and kill people or possibly be killed, that is part of the deal. And that's why you get your pension at the end of 20 years, like the Roman soldiers got their block of land, okay? They need to bring it back. They're having trouble getting people into the Defence Force. Let's make the Defence Force a career again. Get in there, learn some skills, learn some discipline, learn a trade, get some skills. And when you come out after your 20 years, you can use those skills in another area, in another job, which is what I did. Okay, I went into the police, and I think ex-soldiers, ex-military people make good police officers. And I think we make good correctional officers as well because of the discipline side of things. We know how it should run. So anyway, let's start that poll. Should we bring back the 20-year pension scheme again for people who give 20 years to their country in the military? I say yes, and I'm already on it, guys, but I think that pension needs to be untaxed. It's bullshit. Yeah, it's a nice little thing, and I'm grateful for it. I really am. But I'll tell you what, I earn it. Anyone who's been in the military knows what you go through. You're away from your family for long times. The amount of time I did away from my kids and out bush, overseas. You go overseas on operations and all that type of stuff. You're on guard duty, all that type of stuff. You can't just take sickies in the military and have the day off and all that type. If you were sick, you came in half dead and you weren't allowed to die until they gave you permission in the army. You could be on your deathbed. You still had to turn up the morning parade. That's how it works. I'm sure the Marines was the same, mate. So executive order. Let's bring back the 20-year pension for everyone in the military. Let's make it a career again, and let's reward people who serve their country for 20 years. There's probably people out there like Phil Taylor going, why don't tradies get bloody a pension when they think? Well, it's different. The military's a different beast, guys. It is. And as I said, you ask the 41 guys that died in Afghanistan from this country. I don't know how many Americans died over there. The 41 guys that didn't come back from Afghanistan, and the hundreds that came back from Afghanistan with legs and arms missing. Okay, and tell them it's not a dangerous job. 41 didn't come back home. When they signed that dotted line to serve the Queen back in those days, to serve the Queen, you sign that line saying that one day you might not come home. And we all do it when you sign that line. And they make you very aware of that when you go through military recruiting. Righto, here we go. Poll, 91% yes, 9%. The other 9% will be tradies going, bugger you blokes, we deserve one instead. EO7, so I'm going to end the poll there. EO8, what's EO8 going to be, guys? Does anyone know? Can anyone guess? We're off the transgender thing for now, at least, aren't we? EO8. So there's your bring back the 20-year, and we might be able to get people to join the military again. If there's some sort of, let me tell you guys, when I went through my 20 years, there were times there where I just went, I want to get out. I've had enough. I'm not happy. They send you somewhere you don't want to go. Like you might put in I want to go to, you put in your posting preferences. I want to go to Brisbane, Perth, or Townsville. And they send you to Sydney with your family. No, mate, you're going to Sydney whether you like it or not. You're going to pack your family up and go. You go through a lot of stuff in the military, guys, that the normal civilian doesn't have to go through. And a lot of it is, if you're a married person, your family gets inconvenienced as well. And the army wives and the kids having a chop and change schools all the time. You find chopping schools all the time is not a good thing for the kids. It affects their education. Phil Taylor, I was only joking, Phil. Don't take it to heart, mate. I don't think like that. No, that's all right, mate. That's all right. Now, let's go. Am I on the right screen? What's number 8? Oh, this one's a good one. I'm going to have to blow this up. We need an immediate audit. This is if I'm the Prime Minister, everyone. I want an immediate audit. Department of Government Efficiency. Now, listen, I don't think we go get a cockhead like Elon Musk in to go through with a chainsaw and just cut everything. All right, that bloke's an absolute diddly donk. I'm talking about going through the Australian budget and let's cut down on some bullshit spending and put it into other areas like health, education, maybe defence, all that type of stuff. Let's free some money up for the national NDIS, National Disability Services and that. Okay? I'm going to blow this up. I'm going to read out. You won't be able to read this, guys. My son Phil sent this to me. I don't know where he got it from. Okay? But I'm going to go through and show you where some of our money goes in Australia. You won't be able to read that, I don't think. Now, I'm going to put my goggles on because it's really blurry and hard to read. I'm all for Australia. We live in Oceania, guys. I'm all for Australia helping out the nations in the South Pacific. I don't think we should change. And if anything, maybe we should help some of the nations a little bit more. Okay? Keep China out. That's why we give money to Papua New Guinea, so they don't come sniffing around there. Saw Chinese military sniffing around New Guinea when I was up there in 2002. I went back to High Commission and said, there's Chinese military officers are you aware they're in Murray Barracks talking to some of the high-ranking officers of the PNGDF, and the head of Australian Defence at the High Commission went, what? I said, there are Chinese officers in Murray Barracks as we speak talking to the big wigs of the PNGDF. So there you go. They were sniffing around back in those days, everyone. Here we go, because I was an advisor up there at the time and I saw it with my own 4 eyes. The top one there is it's like Tonga, Vanuatu, Tuvalu, all your South Pacific nations, Papua New Guinea, Palau, Nauru, Kiribati, Fiji. I'm all for helping out our South Pacific neighbours. I think we're the big boy on the block here, us in New Zealand. We've got to help the little guys out in our region. It's a wonderful region of this fucked up planet, the South Pacific. It's pretty peaceful. We want to keep it that way. And I think us supplying a patrol boat and that to Fiji or whatever to help with their defence and keeping Chinese fishermen and all that type of stuff out of their waters. I think we've got to keep supporting our South Pacific neighbours. I'm all for that. But then we've got other countries where we send money to, guys. ASEAN and the Mekong, 97 million. This is a year. Cambodia, 48 million a year, 48.9. Indonesia, 312 million. Fuck off. They got a bigger military than us and we're giving them money. Come on. Laos, 24 million. Myanmar, Burma, putrid. Communist country, we're giving them 42 million. Until they sort their shit out, they get nothing. Philippines, they can stand on their own 2 feet, 70 million. Timor, okay, I would put Timor-Leste or East Timor as part of our Pacific. I've got no problems with that. We're still supporting Timor with 82 million a year. Where that's going, I don't know. Vietnam, 64 million. No, they can stand on their own 2 feet. Southeast Asia regional, 90 million. So there's another 90 million going somewhere in Southeast Asia, where I don't know. $832 million a year. So almost $1 billion a year we're giving to a lot of these nations here that we don't need to be giving money to. Okay? Indonesia, Vietnam, come on. Now, here we go. This one, it gets even better. Southeast Asia. Oh, sorry. South and Central Asia. Afghanistan, 50 million. Why are we still giving money to Afghanistan? My God. What the? It's Taliban run now. We shouldn't be giving them anything, whether it's for schools or whatever. Fuck them. Let them stand on their own. I don't care about Afghanistan anymore. Bangladesh, 30 mil. What? They got nothing to do with us. They play cricket. That's about the only thing we got in common with Bangladesh. Bhutan, 2.1 million. The Maldives, who gives a shit? 3 million. Mongolia, it gets better, doesn't it? 5.6 million a year we're giving to Mongolia. Nepal, 9.1. Why? Sri Lanka, 16 million. South and Central Asia, and then another 14.3 million somewhere. 130 million to those countries. The Middle East and North Africa, 20 million. Sub-Sahara Africa, 15 million. We shouldn't be giving anything to any African countries. We've got nothing to do with them. There's $2.5 billion there, guys. Climate change and environment, 144 million. Okay, the environment and all that, as long as it's getting spent in the right area, we've got to look after our environment, don't we? But they could certainly go through there and make sure it's going to the right areas and it's being spent. Years ago, I just saved the country $101 million. Gender equality, disability and social inclusion of the alphabet gang. 101 million. There you go. Put that straight into health or education. I just saved 101 million there. Disability, we're not talking about the NDIS. If someone's transgender and they're disabled, guys, then they can still go. I get dizzy reading it. They can still go in under the NDIS. I'm not denying them that. You can't do that. But there you go. Gender equality and that 101 million. Fuck off. Disaster risk reduction, preparedness and response, 60 million. That should be for bushfire preparation, building levees for floods and all that. Okay, I get that. As long as it's going towards that, that is fine. Global humanitarian partnerships, 123 million. That's one area. I'm not saying stop it, but we need to look at exactly where that's going. Someone would have to go in and look at that a lot closer and make sure that that's being spent wisely. Protracted and strengthening a humanitarian action, another 145. Those two areas there need to have a real close look at to make sure there's no wastage of money there. Humanitarian emergency fund, 150 million. Remember the 2004, was it? Tsunamis that hit Sri Lanka, India, Indonesia, Thailand, and all that type of stuff, where if there's a natural disaster as there is, Aceh had that thing. That there, yes, I think we can't sit back and go, we're not helping you anymore. If a country goes through a terrible natural disaster, Australia needs to step in and do that. I don't have any problems with humanitarian funding going there for emergency funding. If Papua New Guinea, like in Idapae, that time a tsunami hit Idapae, or they had that massive landslide in New Guinea a couple of years ago and it wiped out a whole village and all that. Okay, that's where that funding goes there, so that we go in and we help. New Zealand has a massive earthquake. We go in and help New Zealand in Christchurch after a massive earthquake. That one there, fine. Refugees, 479 million going into refugees, humanitarian and refugees. That's going to come up a bit later. Global health, the WEF, World Health Organization, 230 million. Regional health security, 118 million. Scholarships, 68 million. Why are we paying for overseas people to get a scholarship? There's another $68 million saving there. Education partnerships, 19 million. We'd have to have a look into that one. And there's a cyber. We'll go, it's all pretty boring stuff. But you can see there just how bloody much money we've got going overseas, guys. That is, we probably don't need to be sending it there. We need to help people out, but it needs to go to the right places. And anywhere we've got bloody massive amounts of money going, someone needs to come in and go through and audit the books and make sure it's being spent wisely. And if it's not, fucking see you later. It stops. So I'm going to go back to my second screen. Executive order number 8, start a poll. Should we have, and I'll talk about Elon Musk now, the government needs to have a really, really hard look at where our money is going. I'm sure we'll all agree on this. And if there's money being wasted in one area, it gets channeled into an area that benefits all Australians, okay? Let's look after the South Pacific. Let's not worry about looking after all these other nations that have fucking got nothing to do with us. They don't like us. Afghanistan. Why are we still sending money there? Can anyone explain that? If anyone knows the answer to that, come on at the end and we'll have a chat about it. I'm going to call this up now. End poll, 100%. We all know there's too much wastage, isn't there? It's our tax money at the end of the day, everyone. It's our tax money at the end of the day. EO8, start a poll. EO9, Executive Order 9. Hang in there, guys. I hope you're still bloody hanging in there. We've only got about 15 to go. So here we go. Next executive order. No real estate is to be purchased or leased to non-Australian citizens. Any long-term leases to overseas companies are to be reviewed and cancelled. Ports, airfields, etc. We got Chinese companies here that own airports and fucking ports in this country. We got a 99-year lease to the Chinese on the Darwin port, which is a military port. Can you believe that shit? How did that one get through the gap? Who allowed that shit to happen? That was made by the, not the Premier, the bloke in charge of the Northern Territory, I nearly had his Chief Minister, the Chief Minister of the Northern Territory, because it's not a state. He did that. Why didn't the federal government come in and go, hey, bugger lugs, that might be the Northern Territory, but it's still Australia. Fucking cancel that. That is not happening. So do we need to restrict it? And I'll tell you now, this is the other one, should some billionaire in Hong Kong be able to buy a dozen houses at a new estate in Melbourne? Because what's that doing? Friggin' Aussies can't find a house for themselves anymore. So we're stopping it. You want to buy a house in Australia, you'd be at least a permanent resident or a bloody naturalised Australian. You're a businessman in Hong Kong, you don't come down here and buy land and buy bloody houses. Yeah, the Newcastle port is Chinese owned as well. Surely not, Greggy. Surely not, mate. Fucking come on, you Darwin was. That's what I mean, mate. We've been let down by our politicians, haven't we? We've really been let down. And that's why Aussies are struggling to get a friggin' house now, because we're allowing overseas people to come in, rich overseas people, fucking buy everything. We've got Aussies living in parks in a tent because they can't afford to buy a bloody house. It's absolute bullshit. Here we go, 98%. There's someone out there reckons no, we should be allowed. They're probably going, if we don't allow overseas investors in, we probably won't have skyscrapers and all that type of stuff. I can see there's going to be an argument there, but dead set. I think if you want to buy here in this country, you want to buy farmland, you want to buy this. Chinese are buying a lot of cotton farms and all this type of shit. No. We don't sell our farmland and all that off to overseas companies. It's bullshit. I don't agree with it. 98% of you think the same thing. Okay, EO9, 90 or 97%, 2%. I don't know how that worked, but EO9, start a poll. Executive Order 10. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. What's Executive Order 10 going to be? Australia currently holds 54 days of fuel supply, well under the 90-day recommended levels. Can you believe that? We go to war, guys, we're going to run out of fuel within a month. Fucking bullshit. Australia has to increase its fuel reserves to a minimum of 180 days. So I'm going to double that 90-day. We go to war, we need to have fuel stocks for our military and for the country. All right, we rely too heavily on importing our fuel. Australia is to have plans in place to tap into oil reserves in the event of shipping lanes are cut. Okay, we got oil out in West Queensland. We've got oil in the Northwest Shelf to Western Australia. Apparently, we've got huge deposits of oil in the shale levels or whatever. Yeah, we're not the Middle East or anything, guys, but we need to know where our oil reserves are, be ready to tap into that, and we need to be able to produce our own fuel if things go south. And we need to get our stock of fuel, our holdings of fuel needs to increase. At the moment, if overseas stopped exporting to us or something happened and the shipping lanes got cut by an enemy, we're out of fuel in 54 days, a month and a half. Then what do we do? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm getting a group of people together and go, sort this shit out. We need to be self-sufficient when it comes to fuel reserves, because without fuel and oil, we stop. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. So let's go back in. Let's start that poll. Should we increase our fuel reserves in this country? I'm sure everyone will agree with me on that one. That is a concern, guys, especially if we go to, I don't know why that is. Hopefully you can see that. Is everyone seeing Executive Order 10 up on their screens? Be careful and plan better. In Northern, we have Canadian oil and in our fuel. Canola goes rancid. Only stock non-canola. Okay, yeah. We have a lot of canola oil. Isn't canola oil for bloody thing? But no, we're talking about black oil slacking. We need to tap into that, as a lot of people go, oh, we need to get away from fossil fuels and all that. What are we going to do? Run our ships and our tanks and all our military equipment on solar panels, are we? Doesn't work like that, everyone. Yeah, Chrissy Burns saying Executive Order 10. Yeah, I was just making sure, because on the other screen, it's still sitting on 5. I was making sure you could see the right executive order, mate. Thank you for that. Yeah, and I thought everyone would agree there, guys. We're not going to sit there at 100%. Absolutely. Why aren't our government doing something about this? There's no one sitting in Canberra and go, we're all sitting here going on about, shit could kick off soon up in Taiwan, and we're going on about how we need Virginia-class submarines and all this shit. And here we are. If we do go to war, we're going to be fucked in a month and a half because we're going to have no fuel to power anything. Absolute bullshit. Do our politicians not think of this shit? Unbelievable. This should be, that there would be if I was Peter Dutton, I'd be bringing that up as an issue to get elected. That would be one of my bloody issues there. It really would. Start a poll, Executive Order 11. We're nearly there. And then we can invite people in to the chat room. Righto, what's Executive Order 11 going to be, guys? In this current world, and I'll tell you now, our Defence Force has been neglected for a long time. We nearly got caught short in World War II. Reckon we would have learned our fucking lesson, but we didn't. And here we are, still not ready to go in 2025. Absolute bullshit. And I know people will go, defence is a waste of money. Yes, it is, but it's an evil necessity, everyone. Wouldn't it be a great world if we didn't have to have armies and navies and air force? Wouldn't it be a wonderful planet if no one had to have a defence force? Imagine all that money getting put into health and tourism and education and everything like that. But we live in a fucked up world. We live on a fucked planet where no one gets on with each other, and there's still wars going on today. Have a look at them. Israel and bloody Palestine, Russia and Ukraine, China's bloody starting to become a bit toxic. Not the Chinese people, their government. Talking about invading Taiwan in 2027. My God, if that kicks off, guys, shit's going to get real. And Australia is not ready to go. Australia's increased its defence budget spending to 3% of GDP immediately. At the moment, we're sitting on 1.9. That is fucking woeful. And our Defence Force is living proof of that. It is way below where it should be, guys. And I'm not having a go at anyone in the Defence Force. Okay? Bloody 3% with the possibility of going to 5%. And I'll tell you how we go to 5% is we fuck off all that other wasteful spending to countries that we've got nothing to do with and maybe pump that back into our own defence. Look after ourselves. Charity starts at home. Let's start looking after our own people and our own self. That money we're wasting overseas, start pumping it back into other initiatives. Not saying put it all into defence, but we need to have a look at it. Peter Dutton's talked about bringing our defence spending up to 2.5% of GDP. It's still not enough, guys. It still won't bring us out of the shit. Our Defence Force is in poor shape at the moment. If you don't follow, we are in poor shape. You saw what happened when the 3 Chinese ships sailed around us recently. We pissed our pants and fucking had nothing. We had nothing. So Newts is saying we ran out of ration packs in the first few months of East Timor. Everyone went on to fresh rations except the infantry. Yeah, exactly, Newts, because we didn't have enough in stock, mate, and that's coming up soon, Newts. There's another thing coming up probably in the next one. Did I start that poll, everyone? Start poll, sorry. We need to increase. Australia is to look at weapons, ammunition, and combat equipment stocks in case of a sudden mobilisation. That includes ration packs, Newts. That includes rations. Measures taken to fast-track defence procurements. And I'm talking about some of our defence procurements. Here we are going, we need 11 new frigates to replace our aging Anzacs, which are already being retired. We still haven't made a fucking decision on what frigate we're going with. It's either the Miko 300 from Germany or the Japanese Megami, advanced Megami class. We need to fucking get on to Japan and go, build us 11 ships and we want them yesterday. Okay, we need to start. We just procrastinate on shit. And people go, what's your worst trait, Buck? I think it'd be I'm impatient. And especially when it comes to defence, there has to be a sense of urgency. We still haven't made a decision on what friggin' frigate we're going to replace our Anzacs with. We've already retired HMAS Anzac, and I think a Runts is the next one. It's probably going this year, is it? We're retiring our frigates before we get replacements. It doesn't work like that. You get your new ships, then you start retiring your older ships. But no, our Defence Force and our politicians are fucked. They got no idea how to think. They're fucking letting us down, guys. I'll stop swearing so much. Sorry. It pisses me off, but I'll tell you now, I could go in and do a better job than some of these clowns in Parliament at the moment, just using common sense there. Newt's going, there you go. We ran out of friggin' ration packs when we went into East Timor because we didn't have enough in stock. And I don't know if there's another one coming up. If we mobilise tomorrow, what are we giving everyone? What weapons are we giving everyone? We don't have enough weapons in stock. We should have a massive stock of weapons so that if we mobilise tomorrow and we need to go, every ex-military person report to and grab a rifle and some ammunition, we haven't got any to give anyone, guys. We need to keep our stocks of ammunition. They reckon if the Chinese invaded now, Australia doesn't have enough bullets to shoot every Chinese soldier in the Chinese army. That's been going on for a long time. We don't have enough ammunition in stock to shoot every Chinese person that invades this country. Dear, oh dear. Yeah, I'm passionate about the military, guys. We need a strong military. We need a strong military, and we haven't got one because we've had fucking morons in charge of this country for a long time now. Politicians and our senior officers in defence are as weak as piss. They're all worried about getting to the next rank. How do they do that? Being fucking yes men to the politicians. You need someone in there like me to stand up and go, this is bullshit. I'm the chief of the Navy. My fucking Anzac frigates are rusted old buckets. They've done a good job up until now. They're outgunned. If we go up against the Chinese now, we're going to get blown out of the water. Okay, our submarines are old now. They're not up to it. They're not up to taking on modern submarines and all that. Give me some new shit so I can do my job. Ran over. G'day, Kane, you diddly donk. How are you? Yeah, everyone agrees with that. And I'm glad there's a lot of civilians in here. I'm glad that a lot of you know that we need a strong defence force, everyone. You like to think we'll never need it, but we friggin' have. World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Probably shouldn't have got involved in Vietnam, Afghanistan, all that shit. But we've had Chinese warships sail around us going, look at us with all our bloody... One of their ships, guys, here's an example. One of their ships, one of their cruisers, has got 112 vertical launch systems. 112, which is almost as much as our 3 modern Hobart destroyers combined. The Chinese outgun us, guys. We need to get up. We need to bloody stand on our own 2 feet. Stop relying on the Yanks. We need to start pumping some money into defence. How do we do that? Stop wasting it on other shit. End poll, 100%. Good on you, guys. Well done on that one. Proud of yous. E11, here we go. Start a poll. Executive Order 11. I'll start the poll, but don't answer it yet. What's number 12 going to be? Here we go. Victoria bitter is to be deemed an illicit substance, and the production of this beer is to cease immediately. That is the filthiest beer in this country. Start voting, guys. Should Victoria bitter be put on the illicit, which is illegal, illicit substance schedule, and the production of this beer is to cease immediately? We'll find out how many VB drinkers are in the chat room here. Here we go. This will stir the VIX up now. 70. Oh, we got a few VB drinkers in the chat room, everyone. We got 20% are filthy VB drinkers in the chat room. That is the vilest beer in this country, and a lot of people drink it. Why? I've never ever been, even on a hot day, when I was in the army, sometimes you go to a barbecue and you go, hey mate, you want a beer? No, I'm not drinking it. Just have one. And they pull a VB and you go, oh, that is shite. It is a shocking beer. I won't repeat what Nat Atkinson has just said there. It's a bit foul for this channel. I agree, but it's shocking. It's shocking. Brian, don't let... Brian's a VB drinker, everyone. Brian's voted no on this one. I've upset him. Brian said, if you don't like it, don't buy it. And I don't, mate. I'm only joking. I'm only joking on this one. If you're a VB drinker, guys, this one is a piss take. I've thrown it in for comedy reasons. Possum's piss, pump koala. Speaking of koala, he reckons it's possum's piss. Yeah, I don't like it, guys. I don't like it. But I tell you what, when I go down to the Legends for Charity camp in Victoria in 2026 down in the high country with Ed and Naz, I'm going to put a thing out. This is how, instead of getting up and doing an Angus dance and making a fool of myself, I'm going to scull a stubby of VB. But I'll tell you what, people will want to put in some serious money for charity for me to scull a bottle of that cat's piss. VB, vomit bomb, very bad, whatever you want to call it. It is a horrible beer. But we'll find out how many filthy VB drinkers we've got in the chat room. Here they go. We got 18 end poll. It's flicking. I'm going to end the poll there. 20% of you are filthy VB drinkers. Justin Dillon's a Victorian. He won't go anywhere near it either. So even a lot of the Vics won't touch it. I don't mind Carlton Draft on the tap. That's a nice beer. I was drinking Carlton Draft in the red stubbies down in Victoria. Although I'll drink a Vic beer when I get into Victoria on our big trip. I'm going to drink a Victorian beer. VB was not one of them. The only VB I bought on that whole trip, I went into a bottle shop. I got one stubby of VB, and I did the how to clean the pipes out on your caravan clip. Does anyone remember that one? I copped some flax. The VB drinkers were up me after that one. So there you go. The VB, 80% reckons we should make it an illicit substance, and they should stop making it. Start a poll. Which one am I up to, guys? I can't remember what executive order am I up to? Oh, 13. Ask a question. Executive order. What was that, Roz? I just heard Roz laugh. She's obviously seen a funny comment. What was the comment, Roz? Gary Belcher saying, Carlton Draft's a nice beer. Everyone, Carlton Draft. You know what I wouldn't mind getting, if you can buy it anymore, is a stubby of Foster's. I forget what Foster's tastes like. I don't think I like that either, but it was better than VB. I can't remember what Foster. I might do that. I might find one stubby of Foster's one day and drink it on my next cook up and let you know what I think of it. I'll be honest if it's an okay beer or a shit beer, but VB, the only time you'll see me with a VB to my lips is at the Legends for Charity camp in 2026, and there better be some big money going over for charity for me to do that. So, Executive Order 13. This one I'm passionate about, guys. Reintroduction of national service. Any person that has been in receipt of unemployed benefits for 6 months will be put directly into a defence recruiting program.
That's number 9.
What? Oh.
That's what the last question was, 12 or 30.
Oh, I don't know what I've done here. I've had a diddly-donk moment, guys. Anyway, this is about national service. When I go over, don't forget the number of the EO. Forget the number 9 there. Any person that's been in receipt of unemployment benefits for 6 months will be put directly in the military defence recruiting program. I just said that. Members will have to pass medical requirements, obviously, and criminal history checks. Normal. Okay, we want the right people to go in. If found fit to serve and refuse, unemployment benefits will cease. Members unfit for service will be referred to a recruiting agency to try and get other forms of employment. But sitting on unemployment allowances for the rest of your fucking life when you've got 2 arms and 2 legs and a heartbeat is to cease immediately, guys. Okay? Don't think throwing someone into the army or the military is a punishment. It is not. Some of these kids probably end up in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and it'll be the best fucking thing for them. It'll be the best thing that's ever happened to them. It's not a punishment. We need to get people off friggin' sponging on the dole and not contributing to their country. Remember President Kennedy, not ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Well, we're all in it for ourselves now, aren't we? And I think that's why we're going backwards. Too many Aussies there sitting back, wanting fucking everything done for them. Phil Taylor and all that, they've all gone out. They've worked hard for what they've got. You've got to go out and work hard. And this country at the moment, people will say, oh, yeah, but you go out and bust your guts buck and you still get nothing. I agree with that. We need our politicians, and I said this on the last live feed, if you go out and you bust your guts for 30 or 40 years, you need to be rewarded for it. You need to have a good superannuation, a roof over your head, and have a good life for the rest of your time. Be supported with an old age pension and all that type of, because you've contributed to that. Anyone who gets their old age pension fucking deserves it, guys. Those people done the hard yards to get there, probably done some tough jobs. I'll probably never get it because I'm on a military pension, but that'll count me out there. But I'll still get a pension, and it's paid for by the government. But, you know, I've worked hard to get where I've got to, everyone. And as a lot of yous have there. And some of yous are still working hard to get to where you want to go. Anyway, so I'm going to go back to this thing here, and it's going to be executive order. I'm just going to call it executive order national service. Forget the number, guy. Fuck that up. Executive order for national service. So, as I said, it's not a punishment. We're trying to get these young people that have got no direction in life and maybe put them through a military recruiting program. I'm not saying they're on a bus and their asses at Kapuka the next day. Some of these people might need to go through an intermediate thing where they go through a program that gets them ready for basic training, because they may not pass basic training. They may need to go to a pre-basic training thing. We might have to get up and running to get them fit enough. And when they get into the military, guys, if your education standard, we have an education corps in the Army. And if you haven't got good education, you can apply to go on courses in the Army. They'll give you documentation to expand if you haven't done year 11 and 12, you join the Army, you go through all your training, and once you get settled on your feet, and you'll vouch for this, then you can apply to do year 11 and 12, and you can do it while you're in the Army. Okay, there's an education corps there to help you progress. And it might be that these people can tap into that. There's a lot of really good benefits about joining the military. They go in, they get a trade, they get some discipline, they get some self-respect. I'm not saying national service. People think, oh, national service, that's just a punishment. No, it's not a punishment. But you can't have them sitting back on friggin' Centrelink for the rest of their lives. If someone's disabled or they're not suitable for the military, fine. That will come up in their, if they're a piece of shit and been in prison 13 times, okay, that's not going to work. I'm not saying throw everything in. Maybe if we go to war, we have a penal battalion like the Germans and Russians used to have. Throw all the shitheads into one battalion, give them a rifle and go, you're the first one over the top, boys. So anyway, what do you reckon about that idea? Bring in national service. I know it's not a simple thing. There's going to be a lot of planning and all that, but it's something to start talking about. I think we need to start talking about it. We live in an uncertain world. And let me tell you, when they go into the military, and if they only want to do a couple of years in the military and come out, they're going to come out better people. They really will. 81%. Yeah, I knew I wouldn't get 100% on this one. 81% are in favour of national service. I know there are people out there that don't want national service, and I think that would be one of the topics I'd really like to talk about if someone wants to come in at the end. Okay? So, what's my next one? I'll make sure it's bloody... I'm up to 14, am I? Righto. Let's go back to EO 14. Start a poll. So, Executive Order 14. I'll start that poll because you've already seen it. There is only to be one Weapons Act in this country. All states are to fall into line, and all states are to follow the same rules and regulations. At the moment, it seems every state, after 1996, the Port Arthur massacre, John Howard brought in a thing, Australians aren't allowed to own semi-automatic rifles anymore and certain types of shotguns and all that type of stuff. I don't have a problem with that. If you've been to Port Arthur and seen that thing with the 35 names on, you probably think the same as me. I don't think semi-automatic rifles belong in the hands of a civilian, but that's just my thing. But I think people should still, if they're a decent person, law-abiding, they should be able to own a firearm, everyone. Not a semi-automatic rifle. Certain people, yes. Farmers and all that type of stuff that need to control stuff, maybe. But at the moment, every state's got its own Weapons Act, and every state's starting to make their own friggin' rules. And if you ask Mr. Bullitt, I know if he's on at the moment, Western Australia are starting to basically disarm the state. And I'm not going to go right into that. Western Australia are up to no good, guys, for firearm owners. And just recently in Queensland, people have been applying for 7.62 millimetre or 308 bolt action rifles, and Weapons Licensing Branch, part of the police, Queensland Police, knocking them back. And the excuse was, because there's new legislation coming in soon that is going to ban high-powered rifles. Well, and to their credit, the Catter Australian Party, they're all farmers, and Bob Catter, Robbie Catter, Shane Knuth, Nick Demetto, they're all firearms owners. Okay, and they've said to the Queensland government, "Are you bringing in a thing saying that you can't own a high-powered rifle?" And the new Premier said, "No, we are not." So here we are, weapons licensing branch, making their own fucking rules up and putting their own interpretation on the Weapons Act. There should be one Weapons Act in this country, and all states should fall into line with that one Weapons Act. Okay? Can't have states making their own orders. Western Australia taking guns off everyone. Queensland saying you can't have 7 point. Then you got, you can have that weapon in New South Wales. You can't have it in Queensland. Just one set of rules when it comes to weapons in this country. One set of friggin' rules. Everyone's starting to splinter off and make their own rules up, and it's bullshit. Did I start a poll on that? I'm sure I did. Yeah, I did. So 96% of people agree with that. There should be one Weapons Act. This isn't whether you agree with weapons and all that. It's we should have one Weapons Act and everyone's on the same sheet of music. That's what that was about. It's not whether you should be allowed to own a gun or not, guys. One Weapons Act. 96% said yes. So that's a good result there. EO14, EO15, start a poll. We're nearly there. EO, and then I'm going to invite you on to have your say. If someone's in there fuming about something I've said, you're welcome to come on. EO15, start a poll. What is EO15, you might ask? I can't remember. What have I done here? What have I've stuffed up something. Why is it saying executive? I didn't type executive order 9 on the, I don't know, maybe I didn't save the slideshow or some frigging thing. Let me go back. EO. Friggin' hell. Anyway, just whatever. Don't worry about the number, guys. Don't worry about the number. There's to be one Commonwealth Criminal Code. Here we go. Similar thing, Ace. One Commonwealth Criminal Code for all the states. At the moment, there's a Commonwealth Criminal Code, but every other state has got their own criminal codes. They're all similar, but they're different. Okay? We need to have the country on the same sheet of music when it comes to law and order, everyone. And my first amendment in the Commonwealth Criminal Code will be the reintroduction of the death penalty. I know this will never, ever get up in real time. It won't ever come back into this country. But if I had anything to do with it, it fucking would. This is to only be for the most heinous examples of premeditated murder, where the prosecution team intends to apply for the death penalty because of the seriousness of the offence. A panel of 3 judges is required. Death penalty will be by firing squad, and I will fucking lead that firing squad. Second Amendment, anyone found guilty of producing, trafficking a Schedule 1 illicit drug is to receive mandatory life sentence. So I'm not talking about someone caught with a fucking 2 points of speed in his pocket, guys. I'm talking about people who are manufacturing large amounts, and obviously this would come into the schedule, large amounts of illicit drugs. Have a look what fentanyl is doing to the United States at the moment. Anyone producing that shit illegally, okay, illicit drugs, heroin and all that, or trafficking large amounts of a Schedule 1, which is all your bad boys, heroin, methamphetamine, fentanyl, all that shit. Okay, fucking life in prison. Not going to leave it up to the judge to say, oh, you can have 5 years or 10 years. You're fucking going in for life. All right, and we're going to get rid of the scourge of drugs in this country. I'm not talking about dope, guys. I'm talking about the fucking bad boys, the real bad drugs that are fucking up our young people. Okay? Have a look at, as I said, look at America and fentanyl. I don't know if fentanyl's into Australia yet, is it? I don't really know. I don't think it's a big thing, but I've seen what drugs do to these young people when I was in prison. You got some young lads in there that you could tell that if they didn't get into the drugs, they'd be decent young fellas. And their lives were fucked because of drugs. So we've got to target the people that are making it and selling it in large quantities. Fucking mandatory life. Take it out of the judge's hands. Bring back the death penalty. I'm not talking about someone finds his missus in bed with a bloke and he kills him. Right, that's going to end up as life imprisonment, isn't it? I'm talking about the most putrid, friggin' premeditated murders. Let's give you an example. Martin Bryant, that piece of shit. I shouldn't have even mentioned his name. The Port Arthur massacres. 35 innocent men, women, and even young children butchered. Little kids cowering behind trees. And he come around and fucking popped them with an AR-15, which is why we lost our semi-automatic rifles. That young girl that got murdered up on a beach north of Cairns, and the jury couldn't come to a unanimous decision because that was a putrid thing. The bodies in the barrels where you premeditate, you go and kill someone, chop their bodies up, put them in barrels full of acid. Fucking death penalty for that shit, guys. Death penalty. And for the most putrid of those premeditated murders, that's where the Department of Public Prosecutions will look at it and go, that's one of those. This is one of those murders. And I'm going to, right at the start, Your Honour, prosecutions is going to be applying for the death penalty on a guilty verdict on this. We will be seeking the death penalty. And that's where the justice system brings in 3 judges. Bring back the fucking death penalty and get rid of these putrid people that are not right up there. And anyway, I know a lot of people don't agree with the death penalty. People will go, what if they're innocent? What if they're innocent? That's where the 3 judges come in. Obviously, if there's an element of doubt, it might have to be, this is where, there is some element of doubt here. The judges need to be convinced. If it is one of those if it's just one of those things where there is absolutely no doubt and it was just the most sickest of murders, premeditated, sick, twisted shit, then they seek the death penalty. I think we need to bring it back. Okay? Just for the real bad ones, guys. Just for the real bad ones. That would have to be tied up into the Commonwealth Criminal Code, and I think all states need to go on the same criminal code. Bring us all on the same sheet of music, okay? 87, that's higher than I thought, everyone, for the death penalty. Reintroduction, same criminal code, reintroduction of death penalty, 86. I probably should have split that. But anyway, that's higher than I thought. I know a lot of people won't agree with the death penalty, and it should be by firing squad. I think that's the best way to do it. Do the old ready, aim, fire. Good stuff. Sick people like that don't deserve to live, everyone. Come on. The premeditated, real sick, people who abduct a little 3 or 4-year-old kid, rape them, and then go and murder them and throw them in a rubbish tip or whatever. Fucking death penalty. You don't deserve to live. I balls that up, guys. Weapons Act. Now, that's it. That is it. Remove. That's the executive orders. I thought I had more, but I haven't. I've got a funny feeling I've lost some. See you, John. Thank you, mate. Happy trails. Looking forward to your new things, mate. I know this is dragging. I've been on for, holy shit, 2 hours 23. Let's do half hour. Remove from the studio. Let's invite. Copy that link. So if anyone wants to come on and say g'day, or you got a really good point that you want to thing and come into the chat room, remember, keep it respectful, everyone. If you disagree with me, fine, and we'll talk about it, have a debate, paste. If you want to come on, and we're just going to be talking about the executive orders now, okay, let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, if there's something I should have said and I didn't say. This is just the world according to Buck, everyone. All right. I know. Anita Cobby murderers. Andrew, yes, that's another. Hope you're well down there in South Aussie, mate. Yes, that's another one. Absolutely. Death penalty for that shit. We can all, Daniel Morecambe, death penalty. We can always think of some of the old ones that were you just shake your head and go, how can a human being do that to another human being? Not at war or anything. It's just, how can you do that? And I saw it, guys. I saw this shit when I was a prison officer. I saw some of the offences that were committed against young kids, and it makes you sick in the guts. And I wondered why I came out with fucking anger problems. Okay, it made you sick in the guts. But I still think we should have a firing squad for certain people. Should be a firing squad there. I wish they said, Buck, next night shift, you can go through the Glock and you can open any cell you want and put a bullet in. I reckon I could have thinned that prison out by a third, because there's some people in there that just are no good to society anymore. So, but anyway, that'll never come in. Death penalty will never come back in Australia, guys. We know that. If I was the Prime Minister, I would certainly probably do a national referendum on it, and I would try and get it reintroduced, only for those really, really, really bad ones, okay? And we need to crack down on drugs, because they're wrecking this country as well. Anyone wants to come in, there's the link, everyone. That StreamYard link is, click on that, follow the bouncing ball, and next thing, doink, you'll come up and I'll bring you in. When you come in, just keep it civil and whatever. And let me know if you agree or disagree. Remember what happens if no one comes in. Slacking comes on, guys. And I've got to go, because I've got to go to Townsville this afternoon. I can't be on here for another 3 hours. So Jace Muller's coming on in 5. Jace wanted to ring me last night. Guys, I'd been out working in the yard and that. I was rat shit, absolutely rat shit, wasn't feeling well. So I had one fine day yesterday. I had to get the house done, the yard done, and my neighbour's yard, he's away at the moment. So I did his yard, and I come in last night and I'd run out. I need to get the solar panels out. I was on about 5% battery life. Yeah. So it wasn't good at all. I run it. If I work hard now, guys, but probably I'm not used to it, but I don't know if it's COVID or just getting old or whatever. Fuck, if I had to do a labouring job now, I couldn't do it. I'd be rat shit. Slow down as you get older, guys. Don't get old. It's not good, because you slow down. Let me tell you. Shit I used to be able to just do, stand on my head, now is becoming a chore. I hate to think, if I last till I'm 80, how bad it's going to be in another 20 years, because I'm 60 in a couple of months, guys, and I can feel myself slowing down big time. I really can. So, no slack. No, we don't want slacking on. I don't want it to go any more than 3 hours this morning, guys. We've got 2:27. If slacking comes on, we'll be here till 4 o'clock this afternoon. So there's a lot of shit going on with Canada and the USA at the moment, isn't there? Not good. What's Canada going to do? They're going to cancel the F-35s. Who knows? Interesting times ahead, isn't it? Interesting time. Every time you open up YouTube now, it's all about Trump or Canada, or it's just, yeah. And as an Aussie, you don't like to see mates fighting, do we? You don't like to see everyone getting on, but I said that at the start. I said every time you turn the news on now that he's back in, it'll dominate the news, and it has. When Biden was in, you never heard about him. But now that the big orange fella's in, every news bulletin now has got something to do with him, whether he's doing good shit or stupid shit, saying stupid shit. Jace Muller's coming in.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
G'day, Jace. How are you, mate? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
all good.
Sorry I couldn't take your call last night. I was rat shit, mate.
No, you're right. I was half cut anyway, if you want to know the truth.
Did you go running this morning, or was that you got on it after you run?
Yeah, got on it after. I had to rehydrate. So.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so there's only two things I actually disagreed with what you had to say. The first one was about the compulsory military service.
Yep.
My reason for disagreeing with it. So I just look at this whole Russia and Ukraine war, and the amount of people that Russia drafted into the army. They should have overthrown Ukraine, no worries. But the thing is, a lot of people don't realise is what Putin done. He drafted in. He didn't draft in ethnic Russian people from the West. He drafted in all of those Siberians that had no interest in being there. And that's why it's just been a stalemate basically for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
My fear is that in Australia, if we start just bringing in just yobbos off the street that don't want to be in there, then our military, while we'd have a stronger in terms of numbers, the morale will just drop. But I do think that something, well, the government does need to do something to get unemployed people into the workplace. I know in places like, I think Canada does this, Slacken can correct me, but I know definitely in America, they actually have a limit of how long you can be on the dole. Maybe we need to start bringing in something like that.
Yeah. Just remember, mate, the Russians are just grabbing people, putting them in a uniform, throwing a rifle in their hand, giving them a soldier's five and throwing them on the front line. That wouldn't be the case in Australia.
No.
We still have to go through basic training and their initial employment training. If they're not up to speed or they're totally useless, they get back squatted. They don't get into an infantry battalion or a signal regiment or anything if they're a clusterfuck, mate. They have to pass all the required standards. And people go, national service won't work. Did you see the standard of the Nashos that we sent to Vietnam, mate? They were A-grade soldiers, mate. Some of the best soldiers we've ever had, the Nashos. So it can work. I'm not talking about just grabbing any diddly donk, throwing a rifle in their hand and sending them to the front line or whatever. They still got to go in and pass all the required shit that any other soldier needs to pass. And by the time they get to a unit, they're going to be up to speed. And by that time, all that shit's going to be out of them, mate. So, yeah, you're certainly not going to go down the Russian line and just let any Tom, Dick and Harry go in. It worked in Vietnam. Their number come up. They went in whether they liked it or not. And you speak to anyone who served with a Nasho in Vietnam, mate, bloody top quality soldiers, they really were, because they'd been trained up to the standard. We don't drop the standards because they're national servicemen. We don't drop the standards. We bring them up to the standard required.
Yeah, good. And that's the way it should be, really.
Yeah.
The other one was about the death penalty. Like I actually don't mind it in some ways, but because it's like just from an economic perspective, keeping the taxpayer having to keep some pieces of shit alive is a bit of a joke too. But like I'm on the fence because it's the other argument is it's just an easy way out. Now, I'd even bring it in further if we are going to bring it back to include like pedophiles and all that too.
I don't think that'd get off the ground.
There's no pedophiles out there that can be rehabilitated, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I know we'd all like to put a bullet in their head, mate, but I don't think that'd ever get off the ground for a death penalty, being a pedophile, unless they kill that kid and do something horrific to it. That should be mandatory life. Absolutely. Put it in there with the drug thing, mate. Mandatory life. And
you could I'd even make their prison sentence even harsher. Like you know a bit more about how hard prisoners have it than what I do. But I'd reduce their sunlight to, half an hour a day or something, solitary confinement. Yeah. Make it just as hard as what their victims have had it, because their victims have a lifetime of suffering, a social day.
Yeah. I know, mate. I agree with you on that one. Newt's just coming up with some good ones. Newts doesn't agree with national service. Mate, it worked in Vietnam, Newts. Like we got our 9 battalions up and running for Vietnam, and the Nashos did really, really well, mate. We lost a lot of national servicemen, lost their lives as well. I agree with national service of some kind, maybe not military national service, but civilian national service. I like it. Civilian cleanup and such. Well, that's another area that could be looked at, Newts. If it's not military, then anyone identified, and this is where we go further deep in it, someone might go, mate, you'd go well in the army, spear them, or the Navy there, spear them in the military side. Someone who you know is not going to make it in there, maybe put them into compulsory SES. Put them in the SES.
Yeah.
Get them trained up for national disasters. So it's not just military. Good point, Newts. Absolutely great point, mate. Identify those who would do well in the military, put them in, and anyone who you think won't make it in the military, there could be some other options. Obviously, this would have to be all worked out. But yeah, mate, you want to keep getting your Centrelink payments. You got 2 arms, 2 legs. You go down and you get the orange overalls on, and you start working for the volunteer for the SES, and we'll let you keep getting your benefit. We'll keep supporting you. But you're going to do something for your country. You're not getting it for nothing. You're going to go down to the local council and help with cleanup. You do something. Do something that contributes to your town, your state, or your country. And I think the SES is a good one to do. So no, Newts has come up with a really good idea there. As I said, that was just a general thing. People have got other good ideas that I haven't thought about. That is a good one, Newts. Not everyone's going to make it in the military, mate, when they go through.
No, that's right.
Yeah. No, it's good. I don't think I do agree that maybe some of the bad pedophilia stuff needs to go mandatory life. We need to take that out of the judges' hands too, because they're as weak as maybe that needs to go in there as well. But that will never happen unless we go to one criminal code and everyone works off the same sheet of music, mate. Because at the moment, every state's got their own frigging way to do things, their own justice system and that. They need to be brought into line. And a lot of the judges are as weak as piss, and magistrates, we need to start having some mandatory sentencing. And for the real bad ones, like pedophilia and that, we need to start taking it out of mate, I got some pedophilia stories of some of the guys I used to bloody have in my units at the prison, and if I told you what they'd done, it would make your guts churn. It was putrid.
Yeah.
Of them in there. One of them, there was a guy in there, and I'm going to tell you what he did. He did get a life sentence. He was in for a sexual offence on a 2-year-old, and he was in for life. And what he did to that kid, no one needs to hear it. Bad. It was really bad. Kane, if you want to come on, I need to see more than just your eyebrows, mate. Sort it out. Sort your camera out. All I can see is Kane's eyebrows. I think he's got his nose up against the camera. You're too close, Kane. All I can see is your nose and your eyebrows, mate. Get further back. Further back, you diddly-dong.
This is going and getting a bit off topic here, Buck. But what's going on with your Cowboys?
They're shit, mate. They're going to take them and Parallel battle a wooden spoon. I think they're shit.
Peyton's the first coach sacked, as far as I can see.
Yeah, he is, mate. He's got to go. And so does Jordan McLean, our front rower. Drinkwater needs to go back to Q Cup. We got some problems there, mate. We need a good – I'll tell you what, if I was the Cowboys, I don't know when Bellamy's off. I'd start throwing some big money at Bellamy to get him up for a couple of years to sort him out. They need – you see him the other night, mate. They were – Kane, you were all over the place, mate. I can't bring you on like that. I can't even see you properly, mate. Sorry. You're all over the place, Kane. I'll bring you on in a minute. Elijah, just keep your camera still, Kane. I can see Kane in the waiting room, mate. Yeah, no, he's got to go, mate. We need someone like Bellamy to stiffen up. The other day, the ball's in play. There were 5 Cowboys sitting around the bench not in the play. Phil Gould said, look at that. The one fit. No, mate. Them and Para are going to battle for the wooden spoon, mate. Knights got a touch up last night by the Titans.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed. Like we didn't get the rub of the green, but I'm not the type of fan to blame it on the ref. Like you've got to be better than. You have to beat the referee, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Like you can't just be a victim. And we just our completion rate wasn't good enough. As our attack was just that they had nothing. Our defense was pretty ordinary. Any other side, if that was the Storm, they would have put 50 on us.
Oh yeah. But anyway, you've got things that just wasn't working for you last night, mate. You was pushing things, dropping the ball. it was one of those nights. Need to get to training, regroup, put that one behind you. Newcastle's still they're gonna be up there, mate, in the top 8. But that was a shit game. I tell you what, mate, the Titans, when they click, they're a good team.
Oh, they are. I've said it for a long time. Like, on paper, they've got a very good side. I just question the attitude of a lot of the players there. They just seem like they don't want to be there. Like, Dave Fafita, he should probably be the best player in the comp on natural ability, but it says it all when he's coming off the bench playing his 50 minutes or so.
He's like Tamalolo, needs a big firecracker up his ass, mate, to get him going. So Johnny B's coming in. Now listen, here he is. Johnny Behrens from Oregon in the USA. G'day, mate. How are you?
Good, John.
Camper.
How are you?
Good.
Oh,
good.
You're in the casita, are you? In the van?
Yeah, this is my view of the sunset right now.
Where exactly are you, mate? Which national park?
It's a national monument. We're in Hovenweep. It's in southern Utah.
Okay. Oh, in Utah. Right.
So I don't know if any of this is coming through.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, we're a ways away from home.
Mate, did any?
But, I don't know. I got like 2 bars.
Yeah, it isn't real good quality, but mate, USA's getting hammered by twisters at the moment. Were they anywhere near you?
No, that's generally in the Midwest or the South. So no, I don't have the news, so I don't know.
There's been some terrible ones, Alabama and Nebraska, and that's some massive big EF5s and that, mate. Like, just picked up. Yeah, Josh, you're right. Yeah.
I've got to get off, guys. I'll see you guys later.
Righto, mate.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thanks for coming on, Joe.
But no, I'm still here, Buck. But no,
Yeah.
I don't have the news. I just tune into the Mr. Buckaroonie channel to find out what's going on, and that's pretty much it.
Hey, mate, I know you're ex-US Marine, and you tell me if you don't want to answer. Let me know. Is there any room for transgender in the military?
That's a difficult question for me. In that, no, I would say on the face of it, no. But we have a terrible history here in the U.S. with discriminating against folks that are gay, and so that's from my day, and I think you and I are kind of a similar generation, where it you would be discharged or face penalties or that sort of thing, and it really was a crime, and so I want to be clear about that. But I don't. I would say no. I mean, on the face of it, it's not it just poses too many questions, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. No, it's how long you haven't been on? You're going to bring out some film soon, some film clips of your trips.
Yeah, I'm not good at producing that stuff. I've got a ton of footage. We went to
you're
7.
You're too hard on yourself.
We did 7 national parks last year, and I think we're up to 7 or 8 just since the first of this year. And so I've shot a lot of footage. And as you're aware, it's hard to make a story out of it. It's like cool place, but really kind of putting a story to it is difficult.
Yeah.
Or it is for me.
I know for you, but for us, we've never seen a lot of those places before. It'd be good to see them, mate. But you're a bit harder. You're a hard critic on yourself, mate. I know you always say, more margin. Mate, you're not as bad as what you're making out. You're bloody it's interesting. I like watching it. So we just love seeing your part of the world, mate. And the stuff the pictures you sent me of Oregon when the snow, and it's just we don't see all that stuff over here. So
I just posted a video right before we left, so it would have been last week. But that was just I forget what I was even doing. I think I was replacing a regulator on my propane tanks.
Yes.
Which was at my house, which much like yourself is a lot of rain.
Yeah.
I live in a rainforest, so it's it's hard to work outside. But but now we're kind of in the desert Southwest where we like to be, at least camping wise, because it's dry. As near as I can tell, it would be similar to like a Western Australia type scenario.
Yeah, yeah.
Only
When you say,
it gets cold here. It gets real cold in the winter, and with a lot of snow here as well.
wow, yeah, Utah, yeah. I remember you saying the other day, I live in the Pacific Northwest and a lot of rain, and I thought, yeah, except for the snow in winter, it's probably similar to what we get. We're in the Pacific Northwest and Northeast, sorry, and yeah, we get a lot of rain and that, but yeah, we don't get the snow that you guys get in wintertime, that's for sure.
Right, because you guys are on the wrong side of the planet. So you living in the north is closer to the equator.
Exactly right. I'll tell you what, it's we've had a hot summer here, and it's been a very wet one at that too. A lot of flooding and whatever. But anyway, it's nearly camping season for us. What comms are you using, mate? You're not on Starlink, or you're on just normal?
Yeah, this is just cellular data.
Yeah,
right now.
Have you thought about going to the Starlink Mini? It is brilliant, mate. If you want to keep good comms and that, it is an incredible bit of gear. As much as I don't like Elon Musk, that Starlink Mini is next level.
Yeah, the problem we have is much like yourself. We're on a fixed income, and I already pay for high speed internet at my house.
Yes,
Dana and I have talked about for travel getting Starlink, but I'm already paying $150 a month or whatever it is at the house. And so, and my daughter house sits for us, so she probably would have a problem with me cutting off the internet when I leave.
The good thing about it, I know it is a double up, but the good thing about the RV version, the roaming version, is you can start it. So if you're going away for a month, you start it. When you come home, you stop it. So you're only paying for what you're using, basically. So that's not a bad thing.
Have you?
Yeah, you don't. It's not a continuous. You have to pay when you get the RV version. You activate it for a month, go away, do your travel, and when you get home, you stop it. And you don't. While it's stopped, you're not paying for it.
Oh, I was unaware of that. Have you tried to upload? Have you tried to upload using it?
It's better than my internet at home, mate. It is brilliant.
Really?
Yeah, it is brilliant.
I'll mention that to Dana, because that was our biggest concern, was if we switched over, that we would be paying for two internets, basically.
No, if it depends on if you go to the RV Roam version,
right?
You for us it's $195 a month. You Australian, so I would say $150 US a month roughly. But if you know you're going away for a month, take your Starlink Mini, activate it, use it, get really good comms with it, and then when you get home, you pause it. You can put it on pause until you next want to use it.
So it operates similar to like a Garmin InReach, or some of the GPS programs are like that as well. The satellite communication devices.
You can get Starlink for home, and that is a month-to-month thing, and I don't think you can pause it. But if you get the RV version, which is a bit more expensive, you only pay for it while you're using it. So that could be a good option for you, mate.
Yeah, it's given me food or something to think about. What is the cost of that a month? Just ballpark.
Well, $195 Australian, so $150 American a month. But if you're going away for a month, the $150 to have really good comms. When you get home, cease it, pause it. You don't pay for it. You just got to pay for the hardware up front. And Starlink had the Starlink Mini for $299 last month, which is cheap.
Really?
So you pay for the hardware up front, and then you only activate it when you need it.
Okay. No, that's good information. No, in fact, I just I dropped off the link, and I had some stuff. I was walking the dog here in camp, and I was watching your tire video from a few days ago, and it's kind of funny because I have the opposite experience. I have had BF Goodrich KO2s on everything, and I'm probably on my 5th or 6th set of different vehicles, and it rains where I live, and I've never had an issue.
Is that right?
They're just an outstanding snow tire, and like you mentioned in your video, off road they work very well. I 4-wheel in snow that's 5 and 6 feet deep, and you air them down. It's like driving in very soft sand. You can actually float the vehicle on the snow, and No, my search and rescue vehicle, that's all I run is, in fact, the casita that I'm in right now, we put BFG KO2s on it just because we know, how trailer tires are kind of crappy. And so we went with the light truck tire, but that Falcon looks pretty similar.
Yeah, they got a good review, the Falcon, but I just found the KO2s, mate, on the black top in the wet. I just found them slippery, and I've been reading a lot of the comments, and everyone except for one person, and you're the second person who said that you like them in the wet. Everyone else has, and I've had other people go, they're dangerous on the black top, and they got rid of them. So I found them slippery in the wet, mate. My not when they're new, but when they start wearing, I found them. I just had no confidence in them, so I'm going to try these Falcon Wild Peaks, which had good reviews.
I trust your opinion, and we're driving when it's wet at my house, it's like 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and I wonder if the temperature doesn't affect them.
Well, it could do. It's got I'm in hot tropical rain.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, mate.
But I found them to be just excellent tires, and again have run them against a variety. Like you mentioned, the Maxxis Bighorns. God, I had some of those, and I've had some similar ones, and they were terrible. And it's just different use case, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. People are saying 195 is for unlimited. If you don't use the internet a lot, you can get a cat plant. And in Australia at the moment for the Starlink Mini, or for any Starlink, it's $80 a month. This is Australian, so say $60 US. $80 Australian a month for 50 gigabytes. So if you don't do a lot of streaming, you just want to check Facebook or whatever, you might be able to go to that cheaper thing, and you can start and stop that as you want to, but you only get 50 gigabytes of whatever a gigabyte is. I don't know. Yeah. But just for doing what you're doing now, they're probably ample. So the 195 Australian a month was unlimited, so you can use it as much as you want. But there is a cheap, and you can start and stop that. So you and Dana might only need the 80, or we'll say 60 US dollars for 50 gigs. That might be enough for you, and that might be all you need. And when you get home, you stop it, mate. So, because at the moment it looks like you're filming with a potato.
No, I have no doubt. I'm on my iPhone. In fact, I'm laying in the back of the trailer so I can charge it, because I watched your stupid live stream so long that my phone ran down.
Yeah, mate, you're lucky Slacken didn't come on. It really would have run out of power if he came on. Let me tell you. So Shane, the guy here saying Wild Peaks are also slippery in the wet. I haven't found that yet. I've been driving in the rain since I put mine on, and I've found them to be fairly grippy, but I haven't done any taking corners too fast or anything like that. So anyway, well, I've tried the KO2s. I'm a fan of them. I'm trying the new ones. And if a non sequitur, I did have a question. You were mentioning military service and some kind of pension scheme in service, like you did 20 years. And in the U.S. military, you don't get a pension up until 20 years. Like if you do your 20 years and say you joined when you were 18, like I did, I would have retired at 38, I think, like you mentioned, with a full military pension at that point. Yeah. But doing less than that, like I did, I just did 4 years in the Marines and got out. And so there is no pension other than I get a small disability through the VA. We have what's called the Veterans Administration. And so if you have any sort of injuries or anything like that in your service, they'll give you a small compensation. And to give you an idea, my disability is about what Starlink costs a month. Yeah. So, we have do you still have, does the military still have that 20-year pension, mate? Because we stopped ours in that scheme I was on, the 20-year scheme, that stopped in 1991. It doesn't exist anymore. I was one of the last ones on there.
So what do they do if you do 20 years? Do you get nothing?
No, you wait till you're 55. You still got a superannuation and that, but you can't tap into it till you're 55.
Oh, it's kind of like a scheme like we have Social Security here.
Yeah, so that's what I said, mate. We're struggling to get people in the military now. We need to put up a few things there, and I think make the military a career again. And I know a lot of people that you do your 20 years, you go through and you go, when I do my 20 years, I'm going to get a pension for the rest of my life. It's not enough to live on, but it helps you
Right.
out. It helps
Right,
you out.
right.
And that's what I'm on now, mate. I mean, I got
Yeah.
out of the army. I couldn't live off my army pension. I had to go out and become a police officer and a correctional officer for another 19 years, mate. So,
So but correct me if I'm wrong, but your pension is tied together, right? Your military service somehow ties into your government service.
they're two different things. I'm on a 20-year pension, which is totally different to my veteran affairs pension. Two different beasts.
Okay.
Two totally different beasts, mate. So yeah, I get looked after by veteran affairs now. It took me 20 over 20 years to get a gold card. When you get a gold card, you they basically pay all your. I get free medical now for the rest of my life on a gold card. So
okay.
Yeah,
Now I
good.
do get that through the VA.
Yeah.
I'm covered 100% through the VA. Unfortunately, when I retired from the police, that's the big problem with being in America. They always get you somehow, right? And so we pay about $1,700 US for Dana and I to maintain my civilian medical insurance through my employer, and I have to pay that every month.
How much is that?
$1,700 US.
Oh boy, a month.
Yeah, for my wife and I.
Wow.
Yeah, and
that's big.
Yeah, and our Medicare doesn't kick in until 65. So basically, our retiree medical doesn't kick in until 65, when the government will pick up the tab.
Oh dear. Mate, we break our arm, we go to the local hospital, they put it in a cast, we walk out without paying a cent in Australia.
Don't get me started.
Obviously, if you need an operation on the public system, you've got to wait a lot longer than if you're in private, and you still get private health and all that. But Jesus, nowhere near $1,700 a month. Well, that'd be like 2,300 or something Australian. That is obscene amount of money.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a kick in the balls, I'll tell you. Those are I can live on my pension, but I have deferred compensation that you could invest in through your career. Put money aside, and I have to draw $1,700 a month to just pay my medical. My normal expenses are fine with my pension, but the medical insurance we had to start taking out of my deferred compensation.
Yeah. Wow,
and of course, like you were saying, I have to pay taxes on all that too.
Dear idea. Hey mate, how's retirement life? You enjoying it? You're not missing the police and that? You're right. Go and buy your hairdo. You're enjoying retired life.
So, yes, I am. I did it's been just over a year. I think you and I spoke right after I'd retired, or maybe right before.
Yes, yeah.
But no, it's been a year in February, and I miss the people a lot, but I don't miss being there. And and you, as you can attest to, you don't miss management, right? The bosses. And so
you don't miss them, and you don't miss the shitheads you got to deal with in the job either.
No, you were talking about the ass baton. I quit carrying one of those 20 years ago. I might have carried it for 2 or 3 years because you couldn't hurt anybody with the thing. They're not good. You can't put a good whack on anybody with one of those things. I always carried a mag light. I carried a mag light, big flashlight.
And exactly right.
And we use those extensively, but no, like I said, you could break windows if you needed to clear some bushes out of the way. If you're going through the woods or whatever, an asp was fine. But no, I didn't. Well, you even said it. You carry so much weight around that I always wanted to try to limit that as much as possible. So by the end of my career, I didn't even carry a taser. I had one in my car to get out if I knew, for special occasions. But you get
out with a 12 gauge. You don't need.
I carried a. Well, I didn't carry a 12 gauge either, but but just a flashlight, pepper spray. I think you called it capsicum spray, same thing.
Yeah.
and that was
OC
kind of
spray.
it. And my gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We always had that, but it's yeah, you learn as you get older to carry less stuff.
And then
It
send the
adds
young
up.
one. Someone's got to chase someone, send the young one. I was always a field training officer, so I'd send my first year constable after him.
I can't tell
back
you
you
how many I've
Yeah.
listened
You
to your
go and catch him, I'll
conversations.
drive up the paddy wagon.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I was a training officer as well, and trying to teach. Well, you also mentioned during the live stream how good you know the cops are that are former military, and that was my experience 100%.
Yeah.
The the kids, especially here in the U.S. where we've been at war for 20 years, there's just a ton of these veterans running around, and they were the easiest recruits I had to train by far.
Yeah.
Well,
mate,
some of these kids come out of college and they don't understand.
Yeah. Well, that's it,
So I
mate.
get through.
They know how to handle themselves. They've got the discipline already. I think it's just a natural progression going military to police and that. Yeah.
Wearing a uniform, handling weapons, things like that. It's just stuff you don't have to worry about if you've got some prior service vets, and especially a lot of our American guys. They're coming out of the National Guard or the Army or the Marines or whatever. These are actual like combat veterans. This isn't like from my day where you got out of the military and most of the people getting out had never seen combat. Most of the young kids we have now as recruits in the police that are former military, they've actually been there and done that. They've been deployed and they've been in actual life-threatening situations, and it adds perspective.
Yeah, that that they can work under pressure. Hey, mate, I know you don't like talking about politics much. What's the feeling in the US over the last couple of months? Like, what's your general, whether you like him or not or whatever? Do you think is America? Do you feel like it's a better place or not?
Well, since I'm so separated from the rest of humanity, it's a great place.
Yeah.
But I watch plenty of political stuff on YouTube, and people are generally kind of freaking out. You have the people that obviously voted for the current president, and they're kind of happy, and for the most part, I think. And then you have the other half of the country that didn't vote for him, and they're the sky is falling, and this is going to be the death of our democracy, and it's going to be a dictatorship and all this stuff. And I don't think politics is so short term. I don't really buy into the whole sky is falling situation. I wish Elon and Trump would actually have a blowout, and one would fire the other guy, so that because that stuff, I don't know. But I don't watch the news a lot, so I'm kind of separate from the rest of humanity, so I don't I don't get too wrapped up in what like day-to-day politics. It's like trying to watch your investments in the stock market day to day. What you do is you invest your money in the stock market, and you come back in 4 years or 10 years or 15 years and see how that worked out. If you're watching it day to day, you're just going to drive yourself mad.
Exactly. Yeah. Same as your cryptocurrency and that. But I think you've got the best attitude, mate. You just jump in your camper, go out in the middle of Utah, and just don't give a shit. Just enjoy life.
Well, yeah, because people are still, I have yet in our travels, we've been traveling almost solid since last February with short stops at home and with family and things. And we have yet to run into anybody that's not nice, regardless of their politics.
Well, that's it. You're all in a common thing, mate. You just want to enjoy life, go camping, see some beautiful places. And that's the great thing about the camping community is that we all, and the same as everyone in here, we all love that, love that lifestyle, mate. Yeah. Should be more of it, I think. More camping and less less bullshit, I reckon.
Yeah, it's insanity. If you it's like any of these things. If you let yourself get caught up in it, it'll just drive you crazy, regardless of what side of the spectrum, if because I think everybody I know is some amalgamation of they're right-wing people for some stuff and they're left-wing people for other stuff.
Yeah.
you know,
No, it's
and you know, none of us are dyed in the wool. You know, I'm certainly not a dyed in the wool Trump guy, but some of the things he's said and done make sense.
yeah. Yeah, I
You
agree with
know,
some of the
and
stuff he's done. I'll tell you what, if I had anything to do with it, I would get Trump and Carney, the current Canadian Prime Minister, and I'd take him out camping, sit around a campfire with a cup of tea or a beer or whatever, and just chew the fat around the campfire and go, right, let's nut this shit out.
something tells me that our president is not an avid camper.
Not unless it's a 6-star hotel.
His idea of camping is Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, I know. They did do him good to get in a swag, the fat prick. Get in a swag, sit around the campfire, and bloody just get back to being a real person. I think he's a bit out of touch with reality, mate. He really is. And that's just the way he's been. You know, he's one of these billionaire real estate people. Yeah, probably doesn't know how
I think
live.
politics are universal. I think you struggle with the same thing where you're at. You know, politicians are separate from regular humanity.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it. But,
now
so,
I would have given my entire pension to be able to go on patrol in a troop carrier. I'll tell you that.
they were good, eh? We had a great time when I was up in Cape York, up in the Aboriginal communities. That's all we had up there as troopies, and yeah, they were good fun, mate. Eh? They're a good old truck. Those things are bloody real good. Yeah.
What's that, honey? Yeah, that'd be great. Sorry, Dana's helping from off screen.
Oh, right, yeah. What's on? What are you doing for dinner tonight, mate? What's the time over there in Utah?
Sorry, my watch is 1 hour off, but it's 8:00 p.m.
8:00 Saturday night.
Is it Saturday? Okay, sorry. Sorry, I'm on the retired guy's schedule.
That's when you know you've been out camping for a while. Days don't matter. What day is it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Saturday night, 8 p.m. And no, I had dinner when you started the live stream. I was sitting there texting you as we were eating dinner. And,
nice.
And Dana made a very nice curry with some vegetables and chicken, so it worked out very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Doing any you're allowed to have a fire out there where you are and allowed to cook over fire and all that, or you're not allowed to have fires in parks?
I don't know. We don't have our fire pit set up this time, but yeah, there is a fire ring with a grate and all that stuff. We just didn't do it. We've been actually experimenting with a Blackstone. Are you familiar with those?
No.
It's a camp stove, but it has a flat top griddle on it.
Okay.
So it's all griddle. It's not a,
just one plate. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a big hot plate. But propane, and it's actually been working fantastic.
Yeah.
We had a camp stove and we were cooking with pots and pans. We actually cooked dinner in a pan today, but it's nice to have the flat top. It's just like a big flat top griddle, like you cook breakfast on. Yeah.
No, it's good. Gas is just so quick and easy, mate, to cook on gas, isn't it? Just throw a hot plate over the top and sausages, steak, onion, whatever you want to cook on there. It's just the way to go. So,
but I've heard in down where you're at that there is a lot of fire restrictions, as there are here. As you kind of get later in the year, or for us, we're going into the summertime right now, and so there will be some serious fire bans. Through the summer. Just depending. We've had good luck where if we can't camp in off grid, in like a national forest, they'll have a fire ban. But if you camp in an actual state campground or a national park campground, they'll allow a fire. So it's hit and miss.
Yeah. Speaking of fires, mate, those fires in Los Angeles were terrible, weren't they? They were horrific.
Oh yeah, the Palisades. Yeah, we were down in Southern California when those were going on, and it was all over the news. It was kind of amazing.
It was like,
it was, but it affected a lot of people, and you'll probably identify with this where you're at. Like we have forest fires where I live or where Dana and I live, but that are much larger than that. It was a relatively small fire. The problem is it was in a suburban area, a densely packed suburban, single family homes. And that's what led to the destruction is, all those rich people lived down by the beach and
Yeah.
it just burnt right through their homes.
Yeah. So it was bad, mate. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they hadn't done themselves any favors. They didn't really have sufficient fire apparatus, or it's one of those places where they're just not that. Sorry, I'm reading a comment.
Sorry, I was slacking up in Canada. Said I know what a blackstone is. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just a griddle. That's right.
But yeah, the fires were devastating, and it was tragic. And what those people will have to do, in many cases, like some of those beachfront homes, the government there is so crazy that I'm not sure that anybody will actually be rebuilding on some of those beachfront properties, just because of all the regulations, and they do it to themselves, and it's a very liberal area, and so they're not national park and national monument.
We're at a national monument.
Yeah, so
we don't know what a national monument is, mate.
So it's kind of like a national park, only smaller. It's
okay.
I don't know what the definition is. That this is honestly the first national monument that we've camped at, and it's still run by all the same people as a national park. You have the
Department of Interior.
Department of Interior runs it, and generally when you camp in a national park or a national monument, the rules are very similar. But in this case, it just appears to me to be much smaller, and it's all the same rules apply. If you camp in a national park or in a national monument, typically the campgrounds are unpowered, so you won't have like normal RV type hookups. There's no
same.
And some of them will have water available, but for the most part, in the actual campsite, there's no water or sewage or AC power or anything like that.
Just a normal unpowered campsite, and
we've been very fortunate. Dana's actually very good at finding these campsites and kind of out of the way places, because this is an hour and a half or 2 hours from any sort of city or any kind of civilization, and so it's relatively the campsite itself is pristine, and it's they have a nice picnic table, nice sunshade. The campsite is gravel, so that some of them we've stayed in and have been a little bit worse, but this one really worked out well. It was a pleasant surprise.
The casita camper going good, mate?
It is, like anything that you use a lot in the RV industry, it breaks on occasion. So we had the furnace went out, and then obviously the propane thing that I made the video on. The electric jack had a messed up wiring, which was my fault since I installed it. But no, when we got home a couple weeks ago, we just got back from a big trip down from this area, went home, and now we're back. But while we were home, I worked kind of like a madman to get all this stuff fixed on the trailer. But no, it's and my trailer's older. I don't have the Mr. Buckaroo dollars, so I've got to make my dollars stretch. And so our camper, gosh, I don't know anybody that has watched any of my videos. It's the fiberglass camper that I'm talking about. It's 25 years old. It's a 1999. So, it's an older unit. And so there's plenty to fix all the time. But no, I'm very happy with it. And, honestly, if you live somewhere where it rains a ton, having a fiberglass canopy that's built like a boat, or a fiberglass trailer that's built like a boat is definitely a plus. I've forgotten. Now, you have a big caravan again, don't you?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, we got a 17-foot Jayco, which is an Aussie brand caravan, and I think it's it might be fiberglass or whatever. It's not aluminium. Doesn't feel aluminium anyway, but it's a little bit bigger than our last one, mate. I was a bit claustrophobic in the last one. It was a bit small for me. So, hey, John, I've got about three guys waiting in the chat room to want to come on and have.
Don't worry about it. Yeah,
that's all right. Hey, mate, when you if you get Starlink, let me know, and be good to have you on one Wednesday night or something when you get home and have another talk about we'll just keep it about camping and all that type of stuff. Because last time we did a lot about the police and Marines and all that. It'd be good to. I love talking about camping, mate, and so that comparing the camping in the US to Australia. Be good to have you on again, mate. And I can hear Dana in the off to the side there. So say good day to her from us. Can hear her voice. Hey Dana,
right
how
there.
are you?
She can't. I got my AirPods in. She can't hear you.
Oh.
But no, I'll get out of the way and let
All
you
right.
get on with the next guy.
Good on you. Thanks for coming on, mate. And bloody good to see you again. Get a haircut.
Not happening. See you, brother.
See you, mate.
Bye.
How
do I turn this thing off?
See you, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roz is. I've got Kane to bring in, and then I'm going to. All right. So, guys, I've got three people here that want to come in. I've got Colin the Fathead. I've got Dave. Guys, I can't stay on long. It's after midday, and I've got to get to Townsville, guys. So I've been going over 3 hours. Kane, you diddly donk, how are you?
I'm good, Buck.
That's good, mate. Sorry to keep you so long. Colin the Fathead. Hey, Cole, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
That's good. And we got Dave. G'day, mate. How are you? Dave can't hear me at the moment. You got me, Dave?
Can you hear me, Buck?
Yeah, you going?
Okay. Hey, Dave. How are you?
I'll do it through this way.
Yeah. All right. See you. All right. So, yeah. What are you up to, Kane?
Nothing much. It's been raining here, and I'm just thinking about going mud crabbing this afternoon.
Watch out if she's flooding down there. Kane's right into his. That's Kane Higgins, everyone. The diddly donk from Serena. Finally got to see you, Kane. Everyone knows what you look like now, mate.
And that's my crab measure. If anyone's
and how big they got to be?
Wanting to get one of these?
Yeah, I got one of them.
15 centimeters across.
15, and you're not allowed to take 10 here in Queensland.
Yeah, you got to be 15 centimeters across.
Yeah, you got to. I'm not going to pick them up, Kane. Are you going to pick them up by the back nippers, the back things?
I've been bitten.
They can take your finger off. They can take your finger off.
I've been bitten on the corner of the hand.
Oh, right. Here's Fathead. G'day, Fathead. How are you? How you been,
Dave.
Cole?
Hey, it's going.
Good, mate. Good. How's the health?
Yeah, getting there slowly.
There's Fathead, everyone. Colin the Fathead. If you're wondering who Fathead is, that's Fathead there, the dog.
He's an American bully, is he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
My dad had a purebred honey American bulldog.
Did he? Yeah, they're good looking.
Yeah,
he's not aggressive at all.
No, he's a very good anti-theft device.
A little puppy, a little English.
Yeah, no, that's good. Oh, there's another one.
I'm just having a sneaky Coke.
Hope there's no rum in that, Kane. Dave's got, I think. Love the top, Dave.
Yeah, cheers.
How's Lauren, mate? Good?
Good. She's working today. Double time.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Double time on a Sunday.
Hey,
good
Buck.
stuff. Yeah, Kane.
I got one of your Mr. Buckaroo shirts at my nan's place.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From SMG Sports from Brett.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Oh, it's good you come on, Kane. Everyone sees you in the chat room all the time, mate. It's good to see everyone connect. See, when you first come on there, all I could see was your eyebrows. You were bloody right up against the camera. Yeah. Hey, fellas, anything you really disagree with today? Let's get it back on subject there. Things you disagree with, things you agree with. Kane? We'll
I
start
think,
with you. Oh.
I think we should bring back the death penalty.
Yeah, only for real bad ones, eh? It's not. It'll never happen, Kane. Australia will never go back to that, and I know that. I'm well aware of that. It was just to get that.
But I do agree with that, Buck, too.
Yeah, good on you, Kane. I do. I think for the real bad ones. Cole, what's your thought on the death penalty, mate, for the real bad stuff?
I don't agree with it, but I agree with national service.
Okay. Yeah.
My
And then
my old man was conscripted for national service back in 1953,
yeah.
and it ended in Korean War before he got posted over there. But my old man down in Ulladulla here has got his plaque on the wall.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I was going to say 53 was the last year of the Korean War, mate. And we had conscription back then. Vietnam was the last time we had it, mate. And or national service, not so much. Yeah, national service. But Dave, what's your thoughts on anything today?
I actually agreed with most of you today.
Yeah, most people.
I agreed with the death penalty, especially if they've done something heinous, as you were saying.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just in jail indefinitely. And
What is your problem?
Waste of money, really. But
yeah,
really, you want some love?
National service is a bit harder one, I guess. So.
Yeah, I know. And
People
said a good one. Maybe national service doesn't need to be just restricted to military service, but it can be other things that come under the national service umbrella, like Newt said. I think it's a great idea. Go out and do something for your country. That's nothing. Hey, were you getting their bloody Y62 tuned up the other day, were you?
No, detuned.
Detuned?
Yeah, so I've already had it tuned. I took it back to Nissan for warranty. And my mate was saying a few of his defence mates have had the same thing happen through Toyota. So they get their cars tuned, take them back under warranty, and then Nissan or Toyota tell you they're doing a software update, and then do it on the sneaky, and they reflash ECU and completely flash the tune out of it.
Yeah, righto. Yeah.
So I went in for a warranty on a discus fan that's $500, and they reflashed the tune out. So now I'm up for $1,500 to save myself $500 on a warranty fan.
Unbelievable. How's Dave? Where are you? Remind me where you live, mate. What town?
Biwa.
Oh, Biwa, right, down there. And Cole, you're at Ulladulla down there near Jarvis Bay, mate.
Wondandian.
Wondandian. That's it. I've heard of Wondandian. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm halfway between Nowra and Ulladulla.
Okay, yeah. Beautiful part of the world, mate. And we've talked about this before when you were on. It is that part of the world down there in southern New South Wales is stunning. And Jarvis Bay or Jervis Bay, whatever you think, it's bloody beautiful there, mate. Some of the nicest beaches I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I'm on the western side of the highway, but if I drive 20 minutes east, I'm all over it.
Yeah, righto. Yeah. No, it's a good spot.
I'm just down the road from you, Buck.
Can't you sound like you're on an intercom in a helicopter or something? Yeah, I know. You're a few hours down the road. Kane, how good is the Serena Bakery?
Well, I was actually there a week ago, not even.
The beef brisket pie is the best one. Kane put me onto the Serena Bakery, everyone. And every time I go through Serena now, I've got to call in and have a Serena pie. They are next level. There's the best bakery around, Kane.
I used to live in Serena. Now I live in Mackay.
Are you Mackay now? Mackay? Are you living in Mackay, not Serena?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like in between.
Yeah, righto. Yeah, too easy. What are you doing with yourself? Still doing volunteer work, Kane?
Nah, I'm working at Slade Point.
Which point?
Slade Point, near the harbour in Mackay.
Yeah, good on you. Okay, well done, mate. That's excellent. Yeah.
And you know the best part about being a military grandson?
Nah.
Having a warrant officer, Air Force grandfather.
Yeah, Kane's very pro-military, guys. His granddad and all that was in the military, and I first met.
I just lost my uncle.
Well, that's no good, mate. That's no good.
He was 100 101 when he passed away.
Holy dooly. Speaking of good inningses, 101. Not many people get to that, mate. Not many people get to that. What are you up to, Cole?
I got
Oh, shit.
Cole's just stubbed his toe. What's happened?
That's all good.
Kicked his toe.
Yeah, that's all right. There. So, how's your health, Dave? Health's coming along all right, mate? You bloody hernia up or something? Is it recovering from that?
Yeah, slowly. I think I'm 8 weeks post-op now. Just got the clearance to go back to work and that. So.
Oh, good, mate. Good. Oh, that's good then. Yeah, you're in the hurt locker there for a while, mate. So, yeah.
I've got a medical
Yeah, go, Kane.
I've got a medical condition, but I'm still living with a injury from a really bad accident.
What happened?
Car versus push bike.
Oh, not good.
You're on the push
And
Kane,
basically I nearly snapped my whole right collarbone.
Bloody hell. I've seen you on a push
Yeah.
bike.
Did you watch that Anzac Day video where I was on my bike park?
Yes, I saw that, Kane, and it doesn't surprise me that you had an accident with a car, the way you were riding that push bike that day. Yes, I did see that.
That was a wet and slippery day.
Jennifer reckons Kane sounds like a news reporter. He does, or he sounds like he's doing the weather from a helicopter. That's it. It sounds like he's doing the weather from a helicopter. You know the helicopter.
Well, it was pouring down rain last night.
Yeah. No, it's been wet here too, Kane. We've got a really wet team. How's that? How's your summer been down there, mate, weather-wise?
Where's that? Who's that?
Where you are, for you. Down
At
Arlo-
Wandie?
Wandie.
Overcast?
Yeah, but how's the summer been in general? Has it been hotter than normal, wetter than normal?
Oh, I can't swear, but it's been friggin' hot.
Yeah. Dave's saying everyone down there, all the boys down in Brizzy said it's been a real hot summer down there. You found that as well, mate?
Yeah, mate. Even though I know where you are, because I used to live up there, and the humidity here is bullshit. It is. Oh.
Yeah. That's what nailed me yesterday doing the yard, and I felt like I had heat exhaustion yesterday afternoon after doing the yard. It was, knocks you around, mate. The humidity. It's not so much the heat; it's the humidity just drains it out of you. And humidity, obviously, even the humidity in Brisbane and north of Brisbane gets worse the further north you get, as we all know. And I live right up there, and it knocks you around. Aircon's your best friend.
I used to live in Darwin, and I don't know how I can handle this bloody humidity down here. And I used to live up there.
Marky Lavelle, man.
Sorry?
National Nam News, old Mahatma Coat. National Nam News.
Marky Lavelle.
Yeah. Hey, Hey guys, I've got to get to Townsville, so I can't. I was only going to go for bloody 2.5 thing. It's been 3.5. So sorry. Thanks for coming on. I've got to cut you short, guys. I've got to get going. I've got to get down to Townsville to see Mum. I've got a 3-hour drive to get down there. So Loz has already missed her. Yeah, Kane.
It's got the marching
if you're coming through Mackay again, just talk to me through my UHF radio.
Yeah, I will. I'll let you know when I'm coming through, Kane. You can turn your UHF on. Channel 40, eh?
I'm on Channel 1.
All right, we'll do Channel 1. I'll let you know when I'm coming through. Hey, Dave can't get a word in, I know. Hey, guys, I've got to go. Sorry to cut you short.
See you, Buck.
Right, Buck. Say good day to your mum for me.
Will do, mate. Will do. Dave, we'll
see you, Buck.
Leave one night. We'll have a chat about it, mate.
Thanks.
Yeah,
all right, hello, people.
See you, Cole. Thanks, mate.
See you, Buck.
Hi.
See you, mate. Thanks for coming on, and say good day to Lauren for us, Dave.
Will do. Cheers. Talk to you soon.
Thanks. See ya. Bye. Righto, guys, I've got to go. Sorry. I should do, that was a long one, I know, 3.5 hours. Anyway, it's some controversial subjects there, isn't there? I know, but a lot of you agree with me there on a lot of the stuff. And I think what I'm trying to say is we need to stiffen up a bit, don't we? We need to stiffen this country up a bit. We've gone too soft. Will Peter Dutton do it? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens anyway. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, eh? I've got to go and pack my bag, grab Rafa. Roz has already gone. Roz said, I'm going. See ya. And I didn't even get to say goodbye to her. So anyway, we'll catch you later. I'm going to go and deliver the Raffle books down to Townsville and take Mum's crocheted blankets and them down to Hope in a suitcase. The only reason I'm doing that is I forgot to take them the first time. I got all the way down to Ingham, 2 hours south, and went, I'm coming down here to give these to Hope in a suitcase, and I left them here. So I'm not going to do that this time. See you, Jack Turtle, Debbie. Hope you've enjoyed the morning, everyone. Hope you all got to have a vote. Bit of a discussion on stuff in it. I know a lot of people, national service is a touchy subject. The death penalty, it'll never happen. I know that. I just threw that in just to get your idea on it. Wouldn't it be bad to know you've shot someone and then it comes out years later that they weren't guilty? I think that's why the death penalty's gone now. I think a few people have faced the death penalty and years later they've found out some evidence that, oh, maybe he wasn't guilty after all. And I think that's why it's gone. It'll never come back into this country. It was just a talking subject, but I know people that deserve it, guys. I've been in a job where I've seen that shit. See you, John. Thank you for coming on, mate. And to you and Dana, enjoy the rest of your camping trip. See you later, everyone. I better pull my finger out and get going. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And the Cowboys are useless. That's all I'll say about that.